This is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back. Oh, there we go. All right. I thought for a second there we were going to have Armageddon with everything, but yeah. All right. Welcome back.
We want to just give major props to our tech guy, Brian Scott, for
major props to him.
Finding the
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Namaste.
Namaste. Hey.
Genki desu ka?
Yeah, that's outstanding job.
I can't remember. Thank you. Oh, tomo arigato.
Yeah, tomo arigato.
Arigato.
Yeah, grazie. Muchas gracias, senor. Yes. Whatever language. Yeah, welcome in. Weird that we started Monday like this, but now we're good.
Welcome to, we have to re-talk about everything we talked about.
Yeah, now we got to rewind and go from there. Without giving up any of the weather forecast or anything like that, we were talking, and obviously I didn't realize we weren't talking to anybody, but we were talking about the tournaments and basketball held over the weekend and the fact that Snowmageddon, which is today, tonight, and later in the week, could very well put a crimp into the tournaments. And we were saying that the Ohio High School Athletic Association their yearly tournament is a tournament in which everything has to be in their exact spot. The Division I sectional tournament got underway on Saturday. The girls' sectional tournaments will be finished in Division I by Thursday. That's not just around here, that's statewide.
It raises the question, if more of the state is affected than not, do they push all the games back, even the ones for the part of the state that weren't affected by weather? I don't know how that exactly works.
Honestly, I think what they will do is they will try to get everyone caught up at the exact same time, because ultimately what you want to do, and we'll use Division I as an example, girls Division I. Their sectional should be completely finished by Thursday. Let's assume for a second that you can't play games around here on a Thursday. And there's two teams in our area that are left. One YSN team, Canfield, and then Warren Harding. Let's assume for a second neither one of those teams can play on Thursday, but then everything is good by Friday. As long as you get your sectional tournaments done by Saturday, everything's in good shape, because the district statewide in Division I will start on Tuesday. As long as everything is done by Saturday, Monday at the absolute latest, you're still on the same page, because the district tournaments in Division I girls will start on Tuesday. Now, the good news, D2, D3, D4 in girls, they're going to start this Wednesday. Wednesday's supposed to be decent weather. You're going to be in between the two storms, so you shouldn't have a problem playing your games on Wednesday. Saturday should be decent weather. Long-range forecast, 5 days off, but right now should be decent weather. So everyone should be okay going into the district tournaments, and D2, D3, and D4, the district tournaments will begin 1 week from Wednesday. Will be the district semifinals. In Division I, it'll be 1 week from tomorrow. So right now, D1 is probably the only division that's going to be affected by the storm. This is going to be the second part of the storm on Thursday. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We definitely hope that it's affected as little as possible, and we can get as many tournament games in as possible in a timely fashion.
Now, the guys are a completely different animal because they're not playing tournaments right now. They're playing their last week of the regular season, and there's some schools that want to sit back and play 2-3 games during the course of the week. Yeah. We were talking Cheney possibly taking a trip up to Menor to take on the former head coach of the Girard Indians, Bob Krasancic, and the Menor Cardinals. I don't know if that's going to happen because Menor's in the middle of the snow belt, and they're supposed to get hit far worse than we are. I don't know if Cheney's going to be able to make that trip.
And then you think the Cheney girls are supposed to host Cleveland Shaw tonight. So then you have a team up in Cleveland supposed to make the trip down to Youngstown.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like that's going to be a possibility. And then you got to throw in Tuesday's schedule. Well, depending on where you live, you're going to get hit with at least 6 inches of snow, if not more. A little bit more snow up to the north. I mean, here in Palestine, I guess we're going to get 3 to 5, 4 to 6. Up in Canfield, you're going to get close to 8 or 9 inches of snow. So it's, I'll be curious to see how many games are going to be played tomorrow. Forget about the games for a second. I'll be curious to see how many kids are going to be in school or remote learning tomorrow. It's let alone the basketball games. But this week, you may not have a lot of basketball games for the guys to get ready for their tournaments, which begin next week.
Yeah, and that'll be unfortunate because there are a lot of guys, teams in the YSN family that need a few more reps before tournament goes. They're either trying to get back on sync or they've dealt with injuries and they need to get back together. There are a handful of teams that could really use the reps this week before tournaments start.
And let's also throw in this little caveat. If you're not playing a game, you're not going to be able to practice.
Right.
Because if they're canceling a game, you can be sure that you're not going to be able to play or you're not going to be able to practice. So
usually now like in an instance where they cancel the Cheney, if they canceled the Cheney game tonight, okay, we're not going to play because we're going all the way to Minter and we just can't make that trip. But you can still have practice because I don't think Cheney was closed today. So like if your school's not closed but it's a long road trip and you're thinking that's probably not a safe road trip to have, that's probably the only instance where you'd be able to practice without a game.
And you might be able to get away with doing a practice because, again, the snow isn't really supposed to start flying until late tonight in earnest. Right. So now here's an interesting thing. Could Cheney possibly get a hold of a team this late, assuming that they decide not to make the trip up to Menor and say, hey, we don't want to practice. We want to play another game. Can we get someone short last second notice to come to our place, or we go to their place and we play a very late scheduled type of a game?
As a fan, hey Struthers, what are you doing?
Hey, you know what? I'd do that in a heartbeat. I would love that. That would be phenomenal. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I would be on the phone talking to. Yeah, that would be a great conversation to have. But Struthers is a team that's wanting to play some games. I mean, they're trying to get some their season closed out. So I don't even know if they have a game on Tuesday, to be honest with you.
Big shout out to Trey Metzko on that team, by the way, getting
his 1,000. Absolutely, yeah. Despite the really crazy season that COVID has brought, it's also brought a ton of 1,000-point scorers this year. And that's been fun.
It's been, and then 1,000 rebounds and 500 career. We've had a lot of milestones and records broken over the span of the season. I was at Western Reserve on Saturday morning. They honored Kennedy Miller and Danny Volotich for getting 500 assists for Kennedy Miller's career. Danny Volotich getting 1,000 rebounds. But then in the same game, Kennedy Miller broke the school record for career three-pointers. Or no, season, no, career.
Yeah, career three-pointers made.
So it's like this boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, just it's been a fun year.
It's been a fun year. We had a heck of a Friday, too. I got to host the open look and
I saw that.
And play some Mike Hackleson. So
yeah.
But we had a lot of competitive games. You look at the final scores from Friday. A lot of 10-point, games that were close. We got an overtime game down in Columbiana that seemed like it was going super fast. I mean, we were 20 minutes into the show, and Lisbon Columbiana was in halftime.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Struthers started slow. I don't know if they were down by, I think, 7 in the first quarter to Lakeview.
Wow.
24-17.
Okay.
And then they went on like I think it was what would that be? 23-2 run.
Which is something that Struthers can do.
And went up 40-26 before halftime.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
They were one of the only lopsided games of the night. Most other games were pretty competitive.
I left Youngstown State after the victory over Purdue Fort Wayne on Friday. The game started at 5:00. We were out of there by 7:30, and I was like, you know what? Maybe if I drive up to Brookfield, I can help out Larry Scragg doing the game. I tuned into you guys,
right?
And then I tuned into the Crestview game. They were late in the third quarter by the time I got out of the parking lot. I was like, "What the heck is going on here?"
But you could have gone right over to Mooney, and they hadn't started yet because it was senior night.
Why was the Mooney game so damn late? Was the JV game that crazy?
Well, I think Mooney always schedules their varsity starts at 7:30 anyway.
Yeah.
So you add that to the fact that it was senior night. And then maybe the JV game ran a little bit long, but that game didn't start until maybe a quarter till 8.
Oh, that's a perfect storm right there.
Right. I mean,
because that was the one thing I was looking at. I'm looking at you guys and checking out Open Look on ysnlive.com, presented, of course, by WRS Wealth Advisors. Got to get those folks in. Well played, people. Well played. Thank you very much for providing the regular season at no cost. The fans surely appreciate that. But I'm watching this and I'm like, why the hell is the Mooney game just starting? Wait a second, what is going on over there? Did we have a 17 overtime game? Because the rest of the games, I told Larry when we were doing the prior to going on the air for the Crestview LeBray game on Saturday, which by the way, holy crap, what a great game that was.
I turned in and Crestview was down
they were getting blown out.
23-7, something like that.
Yeah, they were getting blown out in the first half.
And I was like, well, okay, and then I had to go do a game and I looked at the final score and I saw Crestview won and I was like,
yeah. They
what?
They did what the boys did after their blowout against Newton Falls. They jumped into a half court trap and they did the exact same thing the girls did against LeBray. And LeBray had no answer. They had no answer. Meanwhile, they just kept chipping away at the lead, and then took the game into overtime. Wound up beating LeBray in overtime, which is interesting because if Crestview takes care of business on Wednesday night against Waterloo, there's your rematch.
Right, and it would be a LeBray, right?
No, it's in Crestview because Crestview had the higher seed. Right. Yeah. Crestview had the higher seed.
I was thinking 9 versus 8, but no, it would be 6.
It would be a 6. So we'll see what happens. But no, I was on my way home, and of course I have my iPhone with me, and my iPhone. I probably shouldn't be doing this while I'm driving. Not a good thing. But I'm watching this while I'm watching the road.
You listen to it.
Well, yeah, but I'm peering down, and you're doing one of these numbers, while looking, it's kind of interesting when you're doing this, looking up, looking over, down, up, over, going, kind of, and my eyes are already screwed up to begin with. So I'm watching you doing this, and I'm like, okay, all these games are percolating nicely, and then all of a sudden we're like, I'm just ready to tip off in the south end of Youngstown. Let's go to Cardinal Mooney and East. I'm like, what?
And they got off to a really slow start, too. So, that game really didn't get up to tempo until 8:15. I mean, it was 3-0, halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, and it was amazing how once Cardinal Mooney got down and then went on a run, oh, my gosh, it was amazing how just clamped on they were defensively. When we had Cardinal Mooney's coach on Friday, he was talking about how his team takes great pride in playing defense. And, I was thinking to myself, because I hadn't seen Mooney play all year long. I'm looking at this and going, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, looking at the scores, they're playing some good defense. Oh, my goodness. They just clamped on East Friday night, and I'm like, where in the world is this coming from? I mean, nobody's scoring on this team. They were playing some primo defense.
Yeah, and especially against the East team that tends to struggle shooting at times. It was not a good storm for them. Not a perfect storm for East Chance. No. It was a perfect storm, Springfield. And what they were able to do against McDonald to knock off the Blue Devils.
That was a solid win. Solid win for Coach.
We got to jump in on the game several times, and every time we jumped in, it was like Springfield gets the rebound, Springfield gets the offensive rebound, put back. They just were doing a lot of work on the glass, and really, for what it would seem from our perspective, getting the glimpses of it, they were just out physicaling McDonald in that game.
There were a couple of instances late in the first half in that game where McDonald was not seeing the wide open kid from the baseline, and they hit back-to-back threes from that spot, the right of the basket, baseline bomb from 3-point range, and they hit back-to-back. And I was like, well, that just you better take care of this, because if you allow Springfield to shoot the basketball, they're going to kill you. You have to play solid defense against Springfield in order to get a victory.
And even when Springfield was up late, it was one of those things where you're like, McDonald's not out of this.
No.
Because they can shoot really. It almost felt like the Super Bowl when it was 21-6, and you're just thinking, Mahomes isn't out of this.
No.
Until he threw that last pick. But it was funny watching that game, because you're watching McDonald's offense, and you're just going, they're going to hit a couple threes and pull this. I mean, they came back from down 17 in the fourth quarter against Waterloo.
Sure.
They're not out of this by a long shot.
No.
But props to Springfield for finishing that game and finishing strong, hitting the free throws, and not giving McDonald any kind of open door to get back into it.
Well, and one of the things, if you have a team like McDonald down, and McDonald's a great team. I mean, well, so is Springfield for that matter. But when you have a great team down and they're a team that loves to shoot from the perimeter, you just have to make sure you're clamping down on the perimeter. Because if you're up by 8 points late in the game and you know that they got to shoot threes to get back into the game, you don't care if they're getting easy baskets underneath the basket. At that point, you're like, take it, because that's not going to kill us. As long as we hit our free throws, I don't care what you do inside the 3-point stripe. You want to get baskets, have at it, because we're going to win this ball game. It's going to take you 3 extra possessions to win the ball game. What we're going to be concerned with is making sure that you don't hit a 3.
Right.
So that's where, and kudos to Springfield, they realized, hey, they have to shoot threes to get back into this game, so we're going to clamp down perimeter defense. And if they happen to put in an easy basket for a 2-point shot, all right, no big deal. We'll just go to the free throw line, knock down our shots, and you're going to run out of possessions at that time.
Yeah, and the thing you do with that strategy is you just make sure you tell your kids over and over again, don't foul. Because the last thing you need is for them to get an easy 3-point play by going and driving to the hoop, getting fouled, finishing, and then finishing.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that coaches are hoping to do, at least in the boys, to get this final week of basketball in, so they can get and work on some stuff, fine-tune some things before the tournaments start next week. And my fear is, if you are off for most of this week, a lot of teams in the area, if we get a horrible stretch of snow where we're not going to be able to play a lot of basketball this week, there's going to be a lot of teams in this area that are simply going to be as flat as a pancake come tournament time.
Well, the good news is, you'll be on level playing field, because most of the other teams in this area won't be able to play either, so it's who's going to handle the adversity differently.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing with the COVID. I mean, if you were Trumbull County School playing another Trumbull County School, you both had to deal with that shutdown. So it's just all about who handled it better. We talked about it during football season. Who handles the circumstances better for the playoffs? They're all on equal playing fields, so it's all about who kind of takes the cards they're given and handles it better.
Yeah, and speaking of the Trumbull County schools, kudos to all of those schools. Right. All of them have been able to get in a reasonably good amount of basketball games in. Some of them have done a much better job than others, but all of the Trumbull County schools have gotten a pretty good amount of games in their regular season. Kudos to them.
I've been widely impressed with the champion boys. I don't think enough people are talking about them. They started the season 1-5, and they keep on winning. I mean, they went to Camel and beat Camel by, I think, 10. So, champion, they got off to a rough start because of that shutdown.
Sure.
But they just regathered and said, hey, we're going to finish this season strong, and that is what they're doing.
Oh, they beat Crestview up there.
Right.
I know that. Yeah, I mean, it's... and you want to, you know, especially if you're a Trumbull County school, you want to take this last week to get on some kind of a roll. So when you go into tournaments on a pretty decent winning streak, or let's say you're 5-2 in your last 7 games, even if you have a sub 500 record, if you're 5-2 going into the tournaments, you're in pretty good shape because you're playing some pretty good basketball at that point.
And then in Waterloo, it was senior night on Friday night, and we don't talk about Waterloo nearly enough because Kyle Shockley dropped 34 on senior night. Oof. And he's one of the more fun players to watch in this area, and I think he goes under the radar a little bit because Waterloo's in Portage County.
Sure.
I mean, even though they're in the MVAC and they play all those teams, man, he's a game wrecker, and that's what makes Waterloo really dangerous in the tournament.
Well, again, if Waterloo has their inside-outside game working, forget it. This is a team that went to the regional finals last year.
I mean,
and we'll never know what they would have done because they shut everything down. So we'll never know if this team would have actually gone to the state semifinals, unfortunately. But no, this is, even though they lost some kids from that team, this is still a very good Waterloo basketball team. Make no mistake about that.
And on Saturday, we had the girls NE8, well, I'm going to say championship in air quotes because the NE8 is not officially releasing a champion this year because not all the games were played.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, the top 2 teams.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly. And we made comment on this on Friday. If Poland had won the game on Saturday, they would be the champions. Even though they're not recognized, they would be the champs.
And South Range won. They won 35-25 in another low-scoring defensive, drag out kind of game. And it wasn't because the offenses were sloppy. It wasn't because they were just making silly mistakes. It was literally every turnover seemed like it was defensive force with a trap or with pressing a girl to the corner and making her throw a pass that she shouldn't. It seemed like every turnover was really defensively forced. There weren't too many unforced turnovers.
2 teams that love to play defense.
Right. And
give me that game any day of the week.
And then it was 25-25 in the fourth quarter, and South Range just found the place down the stretch.
There you go.
And that seemed to be what happened for Poland in the first game. And it was interesting because in Poland, the first game, if you remember, Izzy Lamparty scored 20 points, and the rest of her team scored 15, and that was really their bugaboo. They couldn't get
anyone else off.
And in this night, Poland held Izzy Lamparty to 5 points, and the rest of the team scored 30. So that's what you got to do because people are gonna focus in on Izzy Lamparty and say we're gonna shut her down. The rest of the team has to score while you're playing good defense. So
when we had this conversation last week, when the teams that are the most dangerous come tournament time are the teams that are incredibly balanced.
Right.
Because you can't focus on one player because there's 5 or 6 other people on the team that can take a game over. But when you go up against a team that has 1 or 2 really good scorers and the other players are role players that every once in a while come up big, but you can't really trust them to come up big all the time because they don't. How do you deal with it? Well, in South Range's case, I mean, you have more than just Izzy Lamparty. There's 2 or 3 other girls that can come up big, but Lamparty's the rock star.
Yes.
She's the rock star on this team. So, and South Range isn't a very good example, but we'll use South Range. How do you want to beat South Range? Do you want to give South Range an opportunity to let the other people on this team beat you and hold Lamparty down to 5 or 6 points like Poland did? Or do you just simply say, we're going to let Izzy go off for 35 or 40 points, and we're just going to shut everybody else down to where you're not even going to be able to get 50?
You know, I go back to how really good teams defended Daishnett Harris when she played at Ursuline.
And I think that's an even better example.
They would be okay if Daishnett Harris went and got hers, went and got 25-30, because that's, I mean, you can put so much effort into stopping that, and you can't, because she could get her shot anywhere she wanted to. She could just pull up from the volleyball line and hit a three. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So instead of pouring so much effort into trying to stop her and still getting 18 to 23 points, and then the other girls getting, 7 here and there because you were tired trying to stop Daishnett Harris, teams would just put one person on Daishnett Harris and say, if you beat them one-on-one, you're going to get your points. But the rest of your teammates aren't scoring.
Yeah.
And in district tournament time, that's what kind of happened to them. Daishnett Harris scored 28 to 30 points, but then the rest of her team scored maybe 10 or 15. And, what can you do?
And that's, you pick your poison.
But it was hard because that Ursuline team had other talent. But it was just like they put all their energy into stopping those girls and really held them down.
See, and that's where if I were a coach and I saw that my team's going up against a team that has a dominant scorer, a good scorer on a normal night, and then the rest of them are role players.
Right.
I'm going to go right at the rest of the players and say, you're not getting a damn thing. Your superstar can go out and get 25, 30 points, but the rest of you are going to get 10 points combined, and my offense is going to be just enough to beat you.
And that's what Poland did when they won, when they beat South Range, is he got 20 points, 21 rebounds. I mean, that's a great night.
That's a phenomenal night.
The rest of the team had 15.
There you go.
So they just shut down the role players, and they made sure that Izzy didn't get any help. And on the flip side, this time the Raider defense Jackie Grisdale scored like 10. And the rest of her team scored 15. So it was a bad night for both.
Well, it was a bad night for everyone involved. But South Range is a fantastic defensive team.
They are.
But if I'm playing a team with a ball dominant player that scores 20 plus points a game, and a bunch of kids that are 8 to 10 and a couple of 8 to 10 and then other role models. No, I'm just going to let role players, I should say. I'm going to let the 20 plus girl get hers and then some. But the rest of this team, you're not going to be able to score more than 15 points. I'm going to hold you guys down and let your superstar get hers and then some.
Yeah, and then what happened before the game was really cool because we all know what happened the first time these two teams tried to play at South Range.
Yeah.
Well, before the game, I didn't know this was going on. They were like warming up. And maybe with 3 minutes on the clock, they stopped the warm-ups and they brought the teams to the benches. And Izzy Lamparty had a big gift basket presented to the Poland trainer for all that she did during the injury.
Yeah.
And it was just like, those two teams are rivals. They want to beat each other so bad. And but there's so much mutual respect between those two programs that when they have moments to show that, it's just one of the reasons why we love high school sports.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because you kind of don't, that kind of stuff kind of goes away when it's high caliber college or professional because there's so much more on the line.
Well, and you won't see stuff like that.
Right.
It's
more rare. It's more rare to see stuff like that. But
exactly.
The absolute mutual. I mean, after the game, Nick Blanche went over to the South Range bench and made sure all of them were wished good luck for the tournaments and. He gave Coach Fischel a good handshake and, a chest bump because those two are such good friends. So it was fun to see two teams go absolutely at each other for 32 minutes, but outside of that 32 minutes have such deep respect for each other.
Yeah, and it's a shame that they're both in different divisions. Right. Because obviously it would be a blast to watch these two teams play a third game.
Almost not a shame because then you go, well, okay, at least they both don't have to deal with each other again.
But some of us would like to see Poland and South Range play a third game. I think this would be a blast.
Poland is saying we have enough to deal with in our district. Don't
they have a lot to deal with. There's no two ways about that.
You got West Geauga, you got Mooney, you got West Branch, you got Marlington in there. It's like we have enough. Don't be trying to throw South.
Look, I mean, Poland will get a seriously big game in the district semifinals. Make no mistake about that. And I'm assuming, of course, that Poland is able to get past the winner of their sectional title game between Harvey and Jefferson, which they should be able to do. But Poland will have a lot of work to do when they get to the district semifinals, because that division, you've got Mooney, you've got Southeast, you've got West Geauga. And then on the other end, you got Marlington, you got West Branch, you got a lot of talent there. There's no two ways about it. All right, 330-886-0813. Let's go to the phone lines. Tony, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, brother?
Hi, guys. Is Anthony there?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, I haven't talked to you since the Super Bowl. That's all. That's it. I got nothing to say.
Okay.
But
okay.
He's giving you a cold shoulder.
Your silence says enough, Tony.
Yeah.
We're
still bitter.
I'll spring something on you down the road when you're least expecting.
We're still bitter that the DBs were able to do whatever they were able to do.
I tried to go out to get I tried to go get my mail today and took a step off my stoop, and Breland tackled me and wouldn't let me go. I mean, it's never mind.
I don't think
Lordy. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, I did want to talk a little bit about basketball, but I wanted to mention, you mentioned LeBray, and this popped into my mind, and I saw it a week ago, and it's a memory from my youth. There was a guy, a boxer, actually, I can't call him a great, but a very, very, very good boxer, who recently passed out of, who was from LeBray, he was from that area, Randy Stevens. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw. I thought I saw that he had passed away. He never got any hardware.
What made me think of that is his family. I think it's his brother Tony probably has kids still playing basketball and football over there. So he was in his late 60s. He was older than I thought he was. But I'm sorry.
He never got any hardware, but he was lost in the shuffle from the area.
He was a tweener. That was the problem.
Yeah, because everyone wants to talk when you're talking Youngstown boxing. Everyone is obviously going to want to talk Mancini, Kelly Pavlik, Jeff Lampkin was a champion. Harry Arroyo was a champion. But yeah, he was one of those guys that was lost in the shuffle.
Well, he was from the same area. I think Shaver was from Braceville originally, but the same type situation. Unarguably, very, very, very good boxer.
Oh, yes, he was.
Even though they never got hardware.
Yeah, yes, he was. So was Shavers, for that matter. I mean, Ernie may very well go down as the hardest hitting heavyweight to ever put the gloves on.
But a little anecdote about Stevens. Now he's a little bit older, a lot older. But when I was younger and I'd go to the gym, the Y, and in the gym down there, and he'd come in and out when he wasn't training somewhere else or was between training sessions. And some friends of his brought him down to the weight room, and I happened to witness this. And there was a heavy bag. It was, it was in the weight room, and I don't think it ever got used. It was like the proverbial teeth on the board hog, I guess. I don't know. None of us were hitting it. But somebody challenged him to hit this thing. And it was athletically, it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. I saw guys go down periodically and hit it, and it would pop a little bit. This was a heavy bag, a legitimate big heavy bag.
Yeah.
He hit that thing, and it was bouncing like a speed bag for most of the rest of us. I mean, he was just pummeling this thing. It scared the living hell out of me. He was. Now, let me say, Randy Stevens may have been one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
I had to have conversations with him. Just a really, really nice human being. But again, he was a tweener. He was fighting in the heavyweights. He was a legitimate, I think, 195, and he was that weight before the cruiserweight came about. the cruiserweight was perfectly made for him, but he came along later in his career.
Yeah.
Now, I know nothing about boxing. This is my memories of this stuff.
They light heavyweight and a cruiserweight was never put in. So it was always light heavyweight, and then if you were over 190, you had to go to heavyweight, which I always thought was unfair. That's where cruiserweight came in.
Cruiserweight was what, 195?
It was to 199, and then heavyweights are now at 200 and over. But
it was absurd. It was absurd at that time when you had guys like Larry Holmes at what, 240 or something.
Yeah, it's 225, 230, 235. Yeah.
Yeah, just bizarre. But I just wanted to throw out, this is just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and I was so impressed with the abilities of this guy, and just wanted to recognize him.
He was, like I said, he was a great guy. Going to the ring, it's a different story because you just turn the switch on when you go into the ring.
Were you doing sports in Warren back then?
I was there for a couple of years, and I don't think I ever met Randy, but I'd obviously heard all kinds of stories about how great of a boxer he was, and it just and you hit the nail on the head, Tony. It's unfortunately when he was done, that's when the cruiserweight division started, because he would have been perfect for that.
He had a few chances. I think he may even had a couple title shots, but he was on the downside of his career because one of his they talk about who Bobick, was that who he fought regularly, and he had some big fights. He fought the guy out of Atlanta a few times, I think.
Yeah, he fought Holyfield a couple of times. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he did fight Evander Holyfield a couple of times.
So, okay, just wanted to throw that out. It's kind of my eulogy to the guy that I really didn't know him, but I knew of him, and he was a wonderful human being. Beyond being I think a very good boxer, but he scared the living hell out of me. You don't have to be real mean. You don't have to be real mean if you can hit like he was hitting. Oh my God,
yeah.
It was scary.
Well, you should have seen Shavers do his thing. Shavers was frightening. I mean, it just even when he was in his mid-late 30s, he was still frightening when he hit that heavy bag. I mean, it sounded like a clasp of thunder after lightning struck. Shavers would hit this thing so hard, it would just ear-piercing, just roar from the bag when Shavers would hit it.
Yeah, crazy. Hey, this was a question for you, Anthony. You think if when Randy Shavers were fighting, or Randy Stevens were fighting, if they let him clench people in the corner and rabbit punch them behind their heads, he could have competed? I'll see you guys later.
See you, Tony. Yeah, we're not gonna let that one go.
You sound kind of bitter, Tony.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna be that bitter, but
they weren't flagrant holds; they were 50-50 call holds, and they just happened to call them in the Super Bowl and not call them in the AFC West.
I just wish they would have. I wish that we would have had different.
It wasn't
officials.
like they were just.
No, they weren't doing that. But would have been.
It's on. I mean, Bill's receivers have to man up and get out.
You're right.
I mean, let's just be honest here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, it long over with. That's we'll forget about it. It's 2 days from now. We got pitchers and catchers reporting, so all is right with the world. Even though last week I said I wasn't excited.
You're excited now.
I'm kind of getting a little juiced up for it now. No pun intended on the juiced up comment. No comment on that. I'm looking forward to it.
If Ron comes in on Wednesday with broad shoulders and a big head, I'm going to be like, wait a minute.
Well, I already got it. I already got this.
Bigger, like muscular head.
What? This isn't muscular?
Like if your jawline all of a sudden looks like it was chiseled by Michael.
This isn't muscular right now.
And you come and you talk like this. I'm going to pump you up.
I'm going to pump you up.
Then big red flag. Big old red flag.
If I hold a bat like it's a toothpick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come and grab one of DJ's bats and you're like, oh, this feels good.
Oh, this feels very good on me. I will hit the ball 550 yards. We're going to take a timeout, much needed timeout. Dana Balish from TV 21 will be joining us. Coming up at 2 o'clock, Bob Hannon. Hard to believe, but 6 days from now, as I am repping the colors, Youngstown State University will open up their football season 6 days from now. who said football was dead? No, it's not. FCS football is alive and well. And the Penguins will play a Sunday afternoon game in the Fargo Dome against North Dakota State. Bob Hannon will preview that game with us coming up at 2 o'clock. That should be entertaining, to say the least. All right, Dana Ball is just coming up next. Stick around. More to come on this Monday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, you most definitely need to check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Your wallets will thank you very, very much. This is true.
I think when you're buying cars, it goes past wallets and into checkbooks. You know,
well,
I don't think anyone's whipping out cash to put a down payment on it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know.
Unless you're really cool.
That would be.
I forgot product placement.
Yeah, product placement. I don't have mine today, unfortunately. That would be pretty cool if you're just sitting back going.
Let me rip out my rubber bands real quick.
Yeah.
Does this work?
I'm gonna throw out some dimes here. Yeah, this is $25,000.
There you go.
Yeah, give me the keys. Here's a guy that could probably do this because he makes a lot of money over at 21. He's a TV guy after all. They make all the money. Dana Ball is 21 Sports, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Dana, have you ever whipped out a small roll of Benjamins, thrown it at a used car salesman, and said, "All right, give me the keys to that car. This is my car."
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, I think you'd be. Yeah, I think you would probably. I've always envisioned you as doing something like that, where you're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's that Mustang convertible." Here.
I'll take it.
Oh no. That's one of the least amount of things I like doing is buying a car. So
there you go.
Everyone does a great job, and they make it worth your while. And I've had some great deals. So.
There you go. All right, talking about deals, YSU baseball YSU baseball season is coming up. They're going to be in Alabama. We'll talk with Coach Bertolini tomorrow. But the YSU football team, yeah, we are going to have football. 8-game schedule beginning on Sunday. The rest of the FCS will start on Saturday, but YSU will be playing in the Fargo Dome against North Dakota State on Sunday. And you guys are going to be broadcasting the game.
Yeah, we over the years, Ron, we've been able to do the conference road games, and certainly in the spring we're able to do those as well. So it will be YSU North Dakota State at 3:30 Sunday afternoon on our sister station WBCB, and certainly a tough road to go for the Penguins and first-year coach Doug Phillips, who really hasn't played a game. Has been in the position for. Well, let's see. It will be just over a year. I think he was named on February 8th of last year, and we're at the 15th. So, 372 days he's been in the job. And I know he's looking forward to seeing what his team, looks like against some opposition. And, Ron, I think they're going to be a young team. I think there's a lot of questions that they have, I think defensively and offensively as well. But, you go play one of the best teams and you see where you stack up.
I know there are a lot of people that are also fans of the weekly coaches show that you guys do during the normal football season. Is that still going to happen this year as well?
Yeah, we'll have Coach Phillips on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on Penguin Game Day, and we'll do that every Wednesday at 7 o'clock and throughout this season, and get his insight on what things are, and talk to some players and talk to some assistant coaches as well. So we'll do it virtually, not accustomed to what we've done in the past, but certainly we look forward to that on a Wednesday night.
We've been talking about how busy Youngstown State is going to be. You've got the football team starting their season in the springtime. You've got the softball team. They've started their season. You got the baseball team starting their season. You got the boys or the men's and women's basketball teams. They're closing out the regular season this coming weekend. You've got a bunch of other sports going full bore. The SIDs should probably take a very large stock in coffee and energy drinks.
Yeah, it will definitely be a busy time, an unprecedented time. I mean, usually, we're winding down basketball and looking at baseball and softball, and now you have football on top of that. So, really, volleyball. So you've added the fall sports into the spring, so you probably have, an additional 3 to 4 sports going.
When you look at, we're going to shift to high school basketball, and, it's the last week of the regular season for boys teams, but weather is going to dramatically affect how many games they're able to play. What do you think the mindset of these teams are going to be when it's like the last time for tune-ups and they can't go play because of weather?
Well, it's we live in Northeast Ohio. This is nothing new, for weather to affect games. Coaches have been doing this for a while. They adjust to it. I mean, in this day and age of COVID where limited fans are, some teams are actually playing at this hour just to get those games in. But, we live in Northeast Ohio. Snow is part of the forecast. Snow is part of the formula, I guess, and you just deal with it. I mean, you want to be playing your best, when tournament time comes. I think, obviously, I think tomorrow's schedule could be affected. I think we'll be okay for Wednesday. Some teams have already moved some games to Wednesday. Thursday we have another system coming in, so. Teams are going to try to do their best to get the games in, but it's the safety of getting the teams there. It's the safety of getting, the officials there and, that sort of thing. I mean, you even look at, YSU. I mean, IUPUI is coming in here, for the men, so I'm sure they'll get here on Thursday. The women are playing Cleveland State at home, so that will be a short drive for Cleveland State. So weather could affect everything, but it's part of the formula here of living in Northeast Ohio.
TV21 Sports Director Dana Balish joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. The girls' tournament already underway. Division I played their sectional openers on Saturday. The sectional tournaments will begin in D2, D3, and D4 on Wednesday. By Saturday, the entire sectional tournaments should be done for the girls. Dana, you've had an opportunity to speak to many coaches in our area, both boys and girls high school basketball coaches. What are the opinions of the new tournament format? What have been some opinions based on the coaches that you've spoken to?
Well, Ron, I think it's the same as anything else. I don't think they look at it, any differently. I mean, if you're going to face, and again, in these tournaments, the way it's broken down is there's basically two tournaments under one umbrella, I guess is the best way to define it. So the winners of those tournaments are going to go to the regionals. What they've done is they've added more teams. So if you had 27 teams, before you had 14 teams in that district, you had 13 in that district. Well, they were able to crisscross. So, I think that adds some flavor to it a little bit. But, the cream of the crop's going to rise and win the tournament, and then two teams will advance to the regional. So, look, coaches say if we get a home game, that's an advantage to us. But I don't think it's, I don't think it's that. I mean, I like it, to be honest with you, but coaches have, kind of been, okay, it's okay, yeah, we got to play this team, but, for us to get here, we still got to play, another team, and, they just seeded everybody, but the top two seeds, won't meet until or the top four, can't be in the same bracket, they have to be in separate brackets, so, or separate brackets. I'm sorry. So I mean, it's different, and I think coaches have said, okay, we'll deal with it and see what happens.
I don't know how much you've looked at both brackets. Do you see any teams in the area that are maybe seeds that are maybe 3 or below that might be able to make some noise and upset a district championship and win if they're not the 1 or the 2 seed?
Well, I think in Division II on the boys' side, I mean, I think, Cheney a 3 seed, and again, I think that's based on the number of games they played. They were shut down for some time. I think they're a very, very dangerous team. Springfield's in that top seed in D3, McDonald in D4, Struthers in D1. So I think those are all teams that, you expect to be there. But there's always a wild card somewhere, whether it's a local team or whether it's an out-of-town team. There's always that team that's again, in the past has kind of been a double-digit seed and has shocked someone right out of the gate and so on and so forth. So, for the most part, I really haven't looked at those. I mean, the regular season's still going on. But I think, we have a couple of teams that, can win a district championship and then move into the regionals and take their chances there.
It's going to be weird not seeing a district tournament if you're a D4 team not being able to go to the field house. If you're a D3 team not being able to go to Harding or Salem High School, Boardman for D2. It's going to be weird going to a completely different place when the tournament when the tournaments get to the district part for guys.
Well, and the regional sites haven't been set just yet. I mean, they're working on that. I would expect that to come out sometime in the next few days or early next week, Ron. I think the Canton Fieldhouse will still be a place where the regional will be held. I think that's, that's a high school. That's a place that's used to holding it, and certainly I think that's one of those, programs and teams that, I think that's a great setting for high school basketball. The Civic Center, I'm not too sure of. Some of the other sites, Divisions 3 and 4 are usually at the field house. So I think, that's a possibility for that to stay there. Division 2 goes to the Civic Center. So, you think about, okay, what's in that area? I mean, Barberton, does the Division 2 girls, so can they do boys? Division 1 regionals at Cleveland State, I don't think it's going to go to that facility. So I just think that it's a situation of where, the state's going to kind of look at this, and they're looking at it already, the OHSAA, and says, okay, we're going to try to do this. They're going to try to keep things as normal as possible.
Don't want to think too far ahead because we definitely have basketball tournaments to get wrapped up, but spring schedules are on the horizon, and we're all thinking about baseball, softball during this weather. We want the weather to break so we can play baseball, softball. Have you heard anything about maybe the protocols for baseball, softball, what the OHSA is planning for spring sports, and what we should expect in the next couple weeks or maybe a month in what to hear about spring sports from the OHSAA?
Well, I think spring sports will be a go. I mean, you played baseball and softball last year. In the summertime you were able to do that. It's an outdoor sport, which helps. So I think, I don't foresee any issues with the spring sports starting. Obviously the big question is the weather going to cooperate? But, I think if you space out, now we haven't had high school, but, they played down at Scene Park where they were able to space out some people, and so on and so forth. So I don't see any issues with the spring sports. I think unless something drastically happens, between now and then, I would think spring sports would start on time. And, because it's an outdoor sport, which helps out. Again, the biggest thing is, the people who go to watch, the parents, and in baseball and softball, let's face it, don't get big crowds to begin with. So they just have, look, everyone knows you got to space out. So parents should use common sense for going to baseball, when they're going to softball, when they're going to track. Just don't sit around anybody. And I think baseball and track and the spring sports will be okay.
Dana Ballas joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Dana, before we let you go, Andre Drummond, there's a report flying around that the Cavaliers are going to sit Drummond until they're able to facilitate a trade for the big guy. It seems that he might have worn out his welcome. Now, there's no secret the Cavaliers have hit a wall and then some. They're going to come back home having gone winless on their 5-game road trip, and a lot of injuries on this basketball team. A defense that began the year tops in the league is now down to around 20th in the league, and Andre Drummond looks to be on his way out of Cleveland, which, may not be a bad thing. The Cavaliers are certainly not a finished product, and if they can get something for a guy that's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, much like when the Indians dealt Lindor prior to this year, you got to get something for him because he's going to probably pretty much walk at the end of this year.
Yeah, I just think it's a case of where, they got 3 big guys there, I think Drummond, I like him in the Cavs uniform, but, with the trade they made recently, with JaVale McGee there, I think there's, they have room to move some guys. So, depending on what you get, look, Ron, you've been around. You never make a trade unless it helps your team. And if the Cavaliers can get a couple of extra bodies in there or something to help the team, then, and look, they're not going to win a championship this year. But you want to help the team, down the road. And if you're able to do that, then you do that. I think that's a great idea.
Dana, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. 21 Sports Director Dana Ballas joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Yeah, it's Drummond was not playing yesterday because of rest. And I use that in air quotes because, he wasn't resting on Friday when they played Portland. So it's no secret the Cavaliers are looking to deal the big man, and we'll see what they get. But like I said, he's a free agent at the end of the year, and it's just like in any other sport. It's a business. You want to get something for this guy because he's going to walk at the end of the year. Chances are, and you don't want to let him walk and get nothing in return.
Like Texans, Houston.
Yeah.
No, what does cut J.J. Watt? We won't try to get anything for him.
Yeah, and that's just...
Oh, my word. Is it burning down in Houston?
Yeah, well, it is. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But,
Deshaun Watson's that's if there was any hope of him staying, he's gone now.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
He says, let's go.
Yeah.
And it feels like when he did that, Houston was like, well, let's just blow up the ship and try again because... That's what it feels like. Like Deshaun Watson's leaving, so we might as well just blow it all up and try again.
Well, the sad thing is you traded away a lot of capital to Miami for Tunsil, the left tackle.
Right.
So you don't have a first-round draft pick for the next year or two.
And you got nothing for Deshaun Watkins.
Yeah, you get nothing for JJ because you just released him outright. So you might as well trade Watson and try to get some of your draft capital back.
Oh, man.
Craziness. But back to Cleveland. Look, I mean, they began the year, everyone was healthy, and they were playing some good basketball. Well, now you got all kinds of guys that are down and out with injuries, and their defense is taking a severe hit. Yeah, you got Jared Allen now. You don't need to trade, or you don't need Andre Drummond to play a lot of minutes. Jared Allen's going to be the cornerstone of this franchise for years to come. So trade away Andre Drummond and get what you can for him.
Okay, so we do have some cancellations that are official now for tonight. Both Cheney games, as expected, are canceled.
Yeah,
Cheney is not going to Mentor and Cleveland Shaw. He is not going to Cheney. East Palestine hosting Columbiana has been moved to February 18th, which dates what? Thursday?
That's Thursday.
So that was supposed to happen in girls basketball. It's not happening. It's going to play Thursday, which means they're going to play a tournament game and then play each other the next day.
Well, let me ask you, before we get to any other cancellations, let me ask you, would you really want to be on board with, okay, my kids are going to play on Wednesday, and especially if they win, my kids are going to be playing on Wednesday, knowing you have a sectional title game that to get ready for on a Saturday. What in the world? Why would you play a game on Thursday?
East Palestine will play that game no matter what because they want to lock up the first league championship in program history. So
I get that.
They're desperate to play that game.
Well, I get that.
If they win, absolutely I play it because we've said all year games are better than practice. So if you have a game instead of a practice on Thursday after you win a sectional semifinal, and it will be against Berkshire if East Palestine can go win it on Wednesday.
Well, Palestine is already penciled in. They had an off day on Wednesday. They're not playing on Wednesday.
I thought they played Berkshire.
No, they're playing on Saturday. They're playing Berkshire. So for Palestine, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. I don't understand why it would be the case for Columbiana unless Columbiana's in the exact situation, which they aren't. They're playing Pie Valley on Wednesday to go into Saturday, where they would play at Champion on Saturday.
So that's the Division 3.
That's Division 3.
NE2. So,
yes.
I mean, that's... but like I said, for Columbiana, if you win Wednesday, absolutely, because games are better than practices. So you match up with East Palestine with a lot on the line. That'll give your girls a lot of momentum heading into Saturday. You still get a practice on Friday to prepare and go over game film on Champion. So I would absolutely do it, especially if I won. Now, if Columbiana loses that game, then you got to wonder how much mentally are they going to be ready to go on Thursday, because it's kind of hard to be like, hey, our season's done.
Yeah,
but we're going to go play a game.
Are they still in line with a victory for a championship?
I don't think so. I think if they win, it's like a 4-way.
Well, then that should be all the momentum that they would need.
If they win, I think East Palestine, Valley, Columbiana, and United will all have 3 losses in the EOAC.
Yeah. Well, then if Columbiana loses on Wednesday, which I don't think they will, by the way, I think they'll get past Pie Valley. But if they were to lose, you would still have that to play for, an opportunity to be a 4-way champion. In the EOAC.
Welcome to the 2020-21 season. 4-way champion.
Yeah, no kidding.
But East Palestine wants to get rid of all that and just say we're the
champions. Yeah, we're going to be the champs, and you guys can pound salt. We're champions. Right. That's what they want to do. But both teams, assuming Columbiana wins, you want to have those 2 days to prepare for your opponent. If you're playing a game on Thursday, that's 1 day less that you're preparing for an opponent. I guess that's where I'm coming from with this. Now, again, league championships mean an awful lot, clearly. Otherwise, they wouldn't be thinking about playing this game.
Right. You're absolutely right. And then some other cancellations to wind down. In boys basketball, East versus the Urban Scholars has been canceled.
That was supposed to be played for tonight?
Yep. And Lowville versus Sebring was supposed to tip off at noon today. It just got canceled, so they're not playing. West Branch versus Waterloo is still playing, so they're going to go on at 1:30, so they're probably warming up right about now.
Okay.
Heartland versus JFK, still going for a 1:30 tip. We have both those covered. Michael and Mark still gonna tip off there. So and then we talked about Cheney. In girls basketball, besides East Palestine, Columbiana, we will still have LeBray versus Champion varsity only tonight as of now.
Nice.
United versus Lordstown as of now, hosting Lordstown.
Okay.
And that one will be on YSN but video only. But we will have the LeBray game with an announcer there. So both of those are a go. Girard was supposed to host South Range tonight. That's been canceled and moved to Thursday at 7 p.m. So Girard is already out for the Wednesday game because Hubbard had to forfeit, so they are moving on in South Range.
Okay, so Hubbard has COVID?
Yeah, Hubbard had to forfeit that tournament game against Girard. So, and South Range does play, but it's against a really low seed.
Yeah,
so.
and unfortunately for Girard, or for Hubbard, I'm sorry, Hubbard was actually the higher seed in that contest. Hubbard was the 15. They were going to host 17 Girard.
And the last time they played, Girard won by 1 point. And so Hubbard definitely had an opportunity to win, and it would have been their first win, a tournament win in 8 years for the program. So it would have been huge for that program trying to rebuild. So you feel bad for them. Like we said, fairness kind of sucks today, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, here's an interesting thing for Girard because they already have that victory over Hubbard. Mm-hmm. They'll be playing Marlington on Saturday.
Right.
So you can simply do this. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, you can prepare for Marlington. Play South Range on Thursday.
Nothing prepares you for Marlington like going and playing South Range.
Amen to that. And then one more day of preparation for the Dukes.
Right.
And then go to Marlington and hopefully get those Duke boys.
Get those Duke boys.
And then just go from there. So, but we'll see. We'll see what transpires. But yeah, unfortunately, you've already got one team that will be knocked down and out of the tournament based on COVID.
Right. So West Branch probably going to start in 5 minutes, along with Heartland hosting JFK, and then of course we have a couple of girls games tonight. LeBray hosting Champion, United hosting Lordstown. I think United just wants to get back on the floor after losing to East Palestine
yes.
Before the tournament. They wanted us to wash that taste out of their mouth.
Absolutely. And by the way, United. Well, actually, United doesn't even play till Saturday.
Yeah, they have a bye.
Yeah, they get a bye. They get the Mogadore Brookfield winner.
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. And let's be honest, Brookfield, they're the 3 seed in this tournament. So if Brookfield wins, United has to take the trip up to Majory.
Brookfield has been showing a little bit of chink in that armor a little bit in the last couple of weeks. So we'll see if they can regroup and catch a little bit of fire for tournaments.
United would be an interesting matchup with them. If United can get past, United is playing. If Brookfield can get past Mogadore, United can be a pretty interesting matchup for Brookfield.
They played each other in the first game of the season, and it was a competitive game. First game for Brookfield. I think it was like the third or fourth game for
yeah. Well, it'll be. There's no surprise that Cheney's girls team welcoming in East Cleveland Shaw. We pretty much knew that wasn't going to happen, and Cheney boys going to Menor wasn't going to happen.
They rescheduled it for tomorrow, but I don't know if that's. I mean, Cheney really wants to get that game in, obviously.
I can see that game being played tomorrow.
They moved it tomorrow, but we're supposed to get hammered with snow tonight, right? So
yeah, but you can clear those roads off by Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon.
It slows down.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's supposed to.
Well, it's supposed to be out of our system by tomorrow night. It's just a matter of, under normal circumstances, and this isn't normal, but under normal circumstances, if you did not go to school that day, you aren't supposed to be playing a basketball game that night. Well, none of the kids are in school anyway. I mean, they're all doing remote learning right now.
You know it doesn't work like that all the time. Like, oh, hey, school's canceled. Let's still play.
Yeah.
Unless you're a girls' team, they always get canceled.
Well, I mean, it's a common sense thing. I mean, if the weather is, if the storm is past and the snow plows have done their job and they do a great job, yeah, there's no excuse. You go up to Cleveland, play the game.
If it's a 50-50, usually, like, if it's a long road, let's say in the NE8, someone had to play Jefferson at Jefferson.
Yeah.
They'll usually keep that game if it's 50-50 because you don't want to reschedule that trip.
No, God, no.
It's just a lot of things go into factor, especially in these conditions when you're not going to school anyway, as you said.
Yeah, I think it makes much more sense. And kudos to Cheney. They really want to play this game, and they should want to play this game. Mentor's one of the best D1 teams. Forget about Northeastern Ohio. They're one of the best D1 teams in the state of Ohio. And for Cheney, they want to be able to prepare themselves for the upcoming tournament. And no disrespect to anyone here, other than Struthers, there's no other team that can remotely come close to preparing Cheney for a tournament like Mentor. It's an unfortunate reality. Although I would love to see Warren JFK play Cheney.
I'd love to see Struthers play Cheney.
I would love to see that too, but I mean, if the JFK Heartland game had been canceled, I would have been calling up JFK, going, "Hey guys, we'll go to your place, you come to our place, let's play a game," and that would have been a blast. That would have been all kinds of fun. Because JFK over the weekend knocked off Harding, which
overtime.
I looked at that and I was like, well, okay, yeah. Because they blasted Niles on Friday and then beat Harding in overtime on Saturday. And I'm like, that's a heck of a good weekend for Warren JFK.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that they're ready for the D4 tournaments.
You think?
I would say that there's a pretty good chance that Warren JFK is now officially ready for the tournaments, and they get the winner of Leetonia Lake Center Christian. So yeah,
I feel like they were kind of underseeded in that tournament too, weren't they?
Well, they're a 2.
They're 2. Okay, it was someone else I was thinking. JFK's the 2 seed that went right into the 1 seeds bracket, right?
They just sat back and said, "Hey, McDonald, we're going to take you on.
Right.
We got no problems with that." And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, JFK, they will get the winner of number 18 Leetonia and number 15 Lake Center Christian. I mean, at least both of those teams aren't in the 20s. I mean, JFK will be the heavy favorite. I don't think there's any question about that. If they get into the district semifinals, who do they play? Do they play the winner of Jackson Milton? And Jackson Milton plays the winner of Sebring and Western Reserve. So whoever wins that game plays Jackson Milton. Whoever wins that game, barring a major upset, would play Warren JFK. So I don't know. I mean, it's that bracket 2 got crazy when JFK said,
right,
"Hey, we want to take on McDonald." When I saw that, I was like, "Why are you doing that?"
Because we can, Ron.
Yeah, and everyone 3, 4, 5, and 6 just went, "We're going to go to bracket 1. Thank you very much." and now all of a sudden Wellsville, let's see, Heartland Christian, even Lisbon, even though they've lost the Sifke kid with a knee injury. Lisbon's still dangerous. Bristol at 4, Lowellville at 6. I mean, bracket 1 is anyone's contest.
It got bonkers real quick.
Oh, it got crazy good. With bracket 2 being the top 2 seeds, everyone else just said, "Hey, peace out. We're going to go to bracket 1 and see if we can get a regional berth." And
what else happened was the championship game for the other bracket, if it goes chalk, got a whole lot more interesting. Because you would probably see something like, if JFK went to the other bracket, you'd probably see something like McDonald versus Bristol or something like that with a 4 seed.
Which isn't bad.
Wouldn't have been bad, but it's not McDonald.
But now you're looking at McDonald and JFK. Well, now here's the crying shame of all of this.
One of those teams not going to the regional.
Well, that's number 1. 1A is not many people are going to be able to see that game because you're not going to be able to buy a ticket to that game because COVID is going to prevent you from going to the game live. However,
great segue, because you know where you can't buy a ticket to the game? YSN.
There you go, baby.
Covered. Absolutely. Yeah. $9.99 gets you that game and every other district championship game on that day. So you can't beat the price.
Yeah. And by the way, the district championships in Division 4 will be Friday night, March the 6th at 7 o'clock. Just like Division 3. And actually, no, I take that back. Division 3 and 4 will be Friday. Division 2 and 1 will be Saturday. The district championship games.
That's nice for YSN because then we don't have to pick which one we go to.
This is true. Yeah.
I hope they do that for the girls too because I really want to see that Division 2 district championship, and I also want to see how the Division 3 squares out. So I hope that the district championships are staggered.
Unfortunately.
I think they're on the same day, but I think the times are different.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. D2 and D3. Actually, D2, the championship game is that Saturday night at 7. The D3 championship game is at 1 o'clock.
So you can do both.
Yeah, so you can do both. Yeah, you can definitely do both.
When's that D4?
D4 is supposed to be on Saturday at 4.
So it's really...
Yeah. Well,
and that'd be pushing it to try to get to one game.
Okay, so I mean, let's go chalk here for a second, and let's figure this out. So, assuming that 1 and 2 are both in their respective district championship games, McDonald would be hosting a D4 District 1 championship game. Western Reserve would host a D4 District 2 championship game, unless they're beaten. In Division 3, South Range would be hosting a District 1 D3 championship game at 1 o'clock, and Garfield would be hosting the District 2 D3 district championship at 1 o'clock. So you can go from South Range to Western Reserve and catch that game.
To Poland.
Now, can you go South Range to McDonald and catch the beginning of the game?
Which one's closer to South Range? I don't know.
I think Western Reserve is probably closer because all you got to do is take 46 to 224 and then shoot out. It's kind of like doing a square out in football. You get 46 to 224 and then take it out to Western Reserve. Now the problem is from that point, all right, from Western Reserve. Who's doing the Division 2? Division 2, you got Perry in one, and Poland in the other. So you can go from Western Reserve to Poland, staying on 224, assuming that district championship game is done at, 5:30? Would it take you an hour and a half to get from Berlin Center to Poland on 224? Pretty much, if the traffic is bad. Got all those red lights between Berlin Center and Poland on 224. You might be able to make it there by the beginning of the game.
You're right. Western Reserve is about, according to Google Maps, it's 6 minutes closer to South Range than McDonald.
Yeah, and it's all highway from South Range. You just take 46. Take 46 past Western Reserve Road, and instead of going into Canfield, you go at the fairgrounds. You go around, and it takes you out to 224. What is that? 446. Some obscure road that instead of you driving into the square in Canfield and then picking up 224.
Here's where it gets dicey because it says it's a 34-minute drive between Western Reserve and Poland. And I'm guessing that's not even accounting for traffic.
I would assume that would probably account for it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of red lights between there and Poland. So games usually are over an hour and a half. So you got to figure normal game, you're out of Western Reserve by 5:30. Yeah.
So you have
an hour and a half.
You still have an hour and a half to get. So in case, unless it's crazy traffic.
Yeah.
Like unbelievably. Bumper to bumper, everyone's trying to get to Poland.
Which I don't foresee anything like that.
I think you could do that both ways. So
yeah,
if you went to South Range to Western Reserve to Poland, you could probably do.
Now, of course, we're only talking about the YSN broadcasters because you people aren't going to be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't
Look
mean
at him.
to, and I don't
I'm
mean to
telling
sound.
you, like,
I don't mean
look
to
at
sound. It just no. It was. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying we can. You can't. I'm going to do my Bernie Sanders finger wagging. You can't. You can't.
I'm going to do my Bernie Sanders sitting in the cold routine.
And somehow we're going to talk about Wall Street. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Oh, those mittens are kick-ass. Those things were cool. Those Bernie memes, they're the gift that keeps on giving. Right. We'll take a time. I'll be back with more. Stick around. It's a Monday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. We had a question on our poll question for today.
Our social media question of the day.
I mean, given the fact that we're about to have Snowmageddon, which, by the way, stop if you've heard this one before. They're kind of pulling back on how much snow we're going to get. You know, I mean, even though we're still in a winter storm warning, we were supposed to get anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow by last night. In Columbiana County, it's been significantly cut back.
Which we're not complaining about it.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, I'm kind of going to complain a little bit about this. I wanted 8 to 12 inches of snow.
No,
I mean, you got me all jacked up for 8 to 12 inches of snow. I want 8 to 12 inches of snow. East Palestine.
No one wants 8 to 12 inches of snow.
I mean, if we're going to get a snowstorm, let's get a big time snowstorm if we're going to have one. Don't be teasing me with this. Oh, everything is going to go to hell in a handbasket, and we're going to be the 5 days worth of god awful this, that, and the other thing. No, don't tease me like that. If you're going to give me a snow forecast, then give me a friggin' snow forecast where I can get a toboggan out and shuck my fat ass down a hill.
Oh, I want to see you in a toboggan.
Oh,
now
I can rock a toboggan like nobody's business.
Now I want that snow so we can get Ron Podesta on a toboggan.
Let me tell you what. Come Thursday, give me a mobile camera and give me the biggest hill in East Palestine, and I'll get a toboggan and I'll race my fat ass down that toboggan with a toboggan down the steepest hill in East Palestine, and y'all can put it on camera.
You said on record.
Absolutely, I can.
And DJ definitely has a camera to do it, so we can just put one of these on.
Little camera. I mean, y'all are firing me up for some really, really good weather, like back in the good old days. And now we're getting screwed. Palestine's getting less than an inch of snow today, and then 5 to 8 inches of snow apparently tonight.
Ron wants to build a snow fort.
Oh, snow forts are awesome.
All right. So
anyway, but today's question is pretty much in line with the weather that we're supposed to have.
Social media question of the day. What local student athlete would you pair with in a snowball fight?
This is an easy answer.
Now, see, there's a caveat that I'm going to ask Ron. It's, do you want to have a fun snowball fight or do you want to knock out your opponent? Because those answers will drastically change. If you want to kill your opponent, then...
Well, you have to throw a rule into place that you're not going headhunting with snowballs. I mean, it's just like any other, thing. You shouldn't be throwing at anybody from the neck up.
Unless a baseball player flips the bat at you, then you can throw.
Well, I don't want to go head hunting. There's a big difference between buzzing the bell tower and head hunting.
Okay, so if you're...
I mean, if I'm going to throw it at someone, I'm going to make sure that he has plenty of room to go down and eat some dirt for a little bit. I don't want to particularly throw at the person's head. I want to throw it near him enough where he's going to fall backwards and eat some dirt.
Enough where if you make one tiny little mistake, you're hitting him in the head.
Well, I don't want to go that far, but no, nobody. But getting back to this, right. In a snowball fight, I don't want to throw at someone's head. Right. So we'll throw that up. But this is an easy one. Give me Gehrig.
Right.
And his cannon for an arm, because he'll just rocket a snowball at about 85, 90 miles an hour. And even if you have a snowsuit on, it's going to hurt like hell. So winner, chicken dinner. That's my guy.
We've gotten some answers. I'll go through the social media answers. We've gotten some love for Jocelyn Fristic from East Palestine. We've gotten some love for Bree Kohler from the pitcher from South Range. We got some love for Devin Sherwood, who had a fantastic quarterbacking season for Austintown Fitch.
I'll give him that. And Brungard's another one. Give me a quarterback who can throw a football pretty well. Okay, here's a snowball. It's a lot lighter. Go and work your magic, kid. Let me see what you can do.
Yeah, so we've gotten some love from both sports, from some softball players and some baseball/football players. So it's nice to see that gets spread around.
There you go. Give me a...
Trey Pancake got some love on Twitter, so people want to see a double dose of South Range arms in the snowball fight.
Give me a girls softball pitcher, and use the softball, or use the snowball to do one of these numbers.
Have you seen the video of the softball pitcher playing dodgeball, where she just comes out of nowhere off camera and slings this dodgeball like 60 miles an hour at someone and knocks them like straight back into the
phenomenal.
Don't play dodgeball with softball pitchers.
Well, the dodgeball, the movie, was the girl that's married, ultimately married to Ben Stiller.
Right.
She was doing that. Now you had to do a fast motion with the ball going a little bit quicker, kind of like me fast motioning a 40-yard dash.
We slow-mowed that.
Well, you can't slow-mo it because it's so damn slow.
And we put the chariots of fire in there.
Oh, God, yeah. That was a little embarrassing. Rich, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What up, brother?
Good cold afternoon, gentlemen.
Indeed. What's on your mind?
Nothing, not a lot. My son escaped California with my granddaughter. They lived in Modesto. They're now relocated in Tyler, Texas.
Nice.
Okay? Yeah, except that they have like 13 inches of snow.
Yeah, they're getting hammered too.
Wind chill factor right now.
Yeah, I was actually on a radio station in Jackson this morning, Jackson, Tennessee. They're going to get hit with about a foot of snow by the end of the day. Now, when I lived in Jackson, they did not have any snow plows. They had the trucks with the salt, but they didn't have snow plows. They've graduated and have now gotten snow plows in the city. So that's a good thing. But everyone was kind of wondering, well, how the hell do we drive in this? Well, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you now have snow plows, but what you're going to need to do is make sure you have plenty of blankets, a flashlight, some food, basically just in case you get stuck in a ditch somewhere, because it's going to be a while.
We need the 2020 version where you steal food, hoard gas. If you're an elderly American, you will not make it through this storm.
Yeah, I don't want to let people go off the edge like that, because
we've gone off the edge in 2020.
What's the movie, the Hunger Games? I don't want anyone go Hunger Games on us. I mean, it's just snow, for Christ's sake.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Anyway, before he left California, he did 2 tours in the Middle East. Okay.
No snow there.
He ended up with some leukemia due to chemical warfare, which supposedly never took place. But he's in remission and healthy as a horse. He's like 6'2", 240. He's like me on steroids. But Uncle Sam finally took care of him, and he's on total disability and feeling very good right now. And he said before he left California, he bought himself a Jeep Wrangler. He said, why buy a Jeep Wrangler to go to Texas in? I don't know, but I always wanted one. So him and his military buddy, who lives not too far from him, are going around in their Jeeps helping all the families and people pull out of ditches and sliding off the road. They're helping them out to get them back on the road.
Rich, I made this comment when I was living in Jackson. I said that the Winter Olympics should have a sport, a medal sport. Snow driving for people that live in the South should be a winter sport.
Only competing by people that are this close to the equator. That's
and have never driven in snow before. I mean, or never seen snow before. Honest to God, when you have a half an inch of snow on the ground in Jackson, Tennessee, or Nashville, or anywhere near there, the schools are shut down for a minimum of 3 days. You have to go to a grocery store early, or all the bread, all the milk, all the beer, and all the other stuff is gone from the shelves. I mean, it's Armageddon when they have a half an inch of snow. They're going to get a foot of snow tonight and another foot of snow on Wednesday when this big-ass storm comes through our area on Thursday. They're going to get close to 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, well, I guess they'll find some of them in the spring thaw, my brother.
Up here, in a half an inch of snow, we're like, hang on a second, I can still find my golf ball.
Yeah, no, that's it. A foot of snow. I'm putting in the barbecue. I'm like, all right, let's cook up some steaks on the grill.
I mean, really,
Snowfall factory.
As a teenager, my dad would take me. We'd go to parking lots, supermarkets that were in the area that had the big parking lots, and it was later when they were closed down for the night. And it showed me how to do the figure eights and pulling circles and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was funny. He said, this is going to save your life someday. And believe me, it has. So all that goofing around paid off. The people who never had a chance to do that, this has got to be pretty overpowering.
Well, listen, and you bring up an interesting point. As weird as this sounds, if you want a crash course in how to drive in winter weather, go to a supermarket when everything is closed and start working on purposely putting your car in a skid and trying to maneuver your way out of the skid before you run over something. I mean, It's a and not to mention the fact you can do donuts in the parking lot.
Every car has its own personality. Some pull to the left, some pull to the right. Now with the new automatic braking stuff, they seem to be pulling perfectly straight. But on a sports note, I don't have much to say. I'll give you guys 2 Kodak moments at MLB. I'm still trying to get psyched up for the MLB season, Rico. It's not working.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. I'm getting a little bit more amped up with pitchers and catchers report on Wednesday, but I for whatever reason, I'm not feeling it right now. Even though I'm a little more amped up today than I was a week ago.
Okay, Anthony, you might be too young to remember this, but I know Ron will remember it. That would be Robert Ventura in an Nolan Ryan headlock, and Nolan's using Robert Ventura's head as a punching bag. Remember that one, Ron?
Yeah, Ventura gets hit by a pitch, and he decides that he wants to run out to the mound, and later he said, about halfway there, I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Okay, here's MLB Kodak moment of the day, part 2. That would be, I believe it was an All-Star game. Clemens on the mound. Who was that catcher from the Mets? Mike
Piazza.
Posada?
Yeah, Piazza.
Yeah, Piazza. And I don't know if he gave him chin music or if he hit him. And Piazza was bitch jam going up first baseline. And Clemens threw his glove down and started right for him. You ever seen him scoot up that baseline?
Yeah, that was Piazza almost got into a melee in Dodgertown. The 1 year that I was in Dodgertown, he almost got into a melee with a member of the New York Mets. It was hilarious. A couple of kids had to hold him back, and then something else was said, and he was making a beeline toward his clubhouse, and then someone said something to him, and he wanted to break away from the 2 guys that were escorting him back to the clubhouse. It was pretty interesting, to say the least.
Well, you know that the 2 guys that I aforementioned here, they're big boys from Texas.
Yeah,
Clemens and Ryan.
Yeah, one got there naturally, and the other one juiced his way.
Whatever, you know. The point being is, you don't do that.
No, you're right. You're right.
All right, guys. Thanks for the laugh. Be safe. Hopefully, I can see you guys on the air again on Wednesday.
All right, see you, brother. 330-886-0813. Yeah, back in the day when it used to snow like crazy and you wanted to learn how to drive in the snow, you wait until the supermarket is closed and then use that big old parking lot and you learn how to drive in the snow using that parking lot.
And bringing up baseball, I remember the Royals had a pitcher named Yordano Ventura back in 2015, when the year we won the World Series.
Yep.
In the beginning of the season, he got in a couple of scrimmages.
Yes.
But one he got into, he was covering the plate, and I guess he didn't like the way Mike Trout slid into plate or whatever, and he got up barking at Mike Trout, and Ventura was this little skinny thing. And I'm like, buddy, you don't want any piece of Mike Trout. You better just go to the dugout. You know, you can start stuff with who's the football player that played for Notre Dame and went to the White Sox? Samardzija?
Oh, Samardzija,
You can start stuff with him. You know, he's fine.
Yeah.
You don't want to start stuff with Mike
Trout is a big boy.
And you know, rest his soul, he died the next year in Dominican Republic, but Ventura did, not Mike Trout.
Yeah.
But, man, I was like, man, you don't want to mess with
No, Mike Trout is a big, big boy. I interviewed him 2019 when the All-Star game was in Cleveland. Oh, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. You know, that's one kid I would not want to mess with for sure. Yeah, he's a pretty damn good baseball player too. So
I don't want to run into him in a dark alley.
No, definitely not.
Bad things happen.
Bad things. Bad things, man. Bad things. 330-886-0813. Bob Hannon coming up next. We'll talk YSU football. Yeah, Youngstown State opens their football season on Sunday.
Huh?
Yeah. Welcome to COVID. 8-game football season beginning on Sunday in the Fargo Dome, don't you know? Fargo, North Dakota, eh?
Wow.
Yeah, the Penguins taking on North Dakota State. We'll have Bob Hannon on in a bit.
Right now, Waterloo leads West Branch 17-8 in the first quarter.
Is that boys or girls basketball?
Boys.
Yeah, that's not bad.
They are playing.
That's not bad. 17 points in the first quarter?
Yeah, 17-8, unless they have it.
West Branch in the last few games had been throwing down some serious defense.
Right.
Well, that just speaks to how good Waterloo is. And they're a 7 seed in D3. I looked at that and I was like, 7 seed, boy, you guys have underestimated this team.
They've lost some games they shouldn't, and that's what hurt them. I mean, they've been a little bit inconsistent this year, but they can definitely give teams all they want. I mean, they took McDonald to 3-point wins twice.
Yeah.
So they can definitely cause teams some problems.
Yeah, that is a team that is going to most definitely be a tough nut to crack come tournament time next week. All right, Bob Hannon coming up next. Stick around, more to come.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig, and joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, the voice of the Youngstown State University football team, Bob Hannon. Penguins open up their 2020 ? Football season. I mean, technically it's 2021 part 1. But I guess it's 2020 season, even though we're going to be playing 8 games in early 2021. It's just weird saying football starts on Sunday, Bob.
It is very odd. Not only spring, but we play a Sunday afternoon game in the Fargo Dome. Hard to get used to. You know, I've already run into so many people today, and like, oh, right, that's right, it's Sunday. So I think getting people thinking spring football and opening this Sunday may take a little bit of time, but it's here, and no cakewalk or cupcake for Doug Phillips in his opener. He's got to play North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome, so right away he'll get an early baptism to see what this conference is all about.
Why the Sunday start, Bob? Is there something going on in the Fargo Dome on Saturday?
Yes, Ron. So the Fargo Dome is actually owned by the city. And that's been a little bit of an issue out there at times with events. So there's a wrestling tournament going on Friday and Saturday, and that is the reason we are playing on Sunday.
No, be that as it may, the Penguins, and you made mention of this, a rude awakening for Coach Phillips, if you will. The YSU Penguins not only opening up against the best team in FCS, the first 4 games are going to be baptism to fire. These first 4 games are just going to be welcome to college football FCS style, Coach. Oh, by the way, you're going to be taking on North Dakota State, a really good Northern Iowa team, and then we're going to throw in South Dakota State for good measure as well.
Ron, you're right. It's unbelievable, the grind to start Northern Iowa has the preseason all-conference quarterback in Will McElvain. South Dakota State brings everybody back on defense, and a very talented quarterback in Gibbs, who got hurt late last year. I'm looking at many of the preseason polls, and many have all of them have North Dakota State number one. Many have Northern Iowa and South Dakota State ranked in the top 5, and then the fourth opponent is Southern Illinois, which is ranked in the top 25. So it's tough. I'll say this, Ron, that North Dakota State won't be anywhere near as good in the spring as they would have been in the fall. One reason, they're losing first-team All-American quarterback Trey Lance, who will be a top 15 pick. Had we played in the fall, they would have had a great running back in Adam Cofield, but when COVID hit, he transferred to Western Kentucky. So they're down 3 or 4 starters, including one all-conference running back and one all-world quarterback who we're not going to see. They're still great. They still have preseason All-Americans on their roster. They've won 38 games in a row. So some consolation that we're not going to face anywhere near, I don't think, as explosive a team as we would have faced back in October or November.
When you look at this match, I mean, we've talked about how much of a challenge it's going to be, but what would it mean for Coach Phillips to open his career with a win in the Fargo Dome and, like you said, knock off North Dakota State for the first time? They've been knocked off in 38 games. So I mean, what would that do just for the scope of this season to get that win?
If they could win somehow Sunday in the Fargo Dome, I think that would wake everybody up in Mahoning Valley that spring football is important, it's viable, let's get to some games if we can, with attendance only being at 3,000. I mean, to go in with a brand new coaching staff, losing your best player in Justice Reed, who transferred to Virginia Tech, and win in the Fargo Dome, I don't know if I could put it in words. It would speak volumes for what he's been able to do in a short period of time. You know, not only a new head coach, but a brand new coaching staff, other than Coach Peterson on the offensive line, and a lot of, new faces potentially playing. We have 11 mid-season transfers, and I think a lot of them will play. I mean, if they can win somehow Sunday, and I mean, that's a huge, huge task, it would be something very, very special for YSU football.
Bob, we noticed that Braxton Chapman has been transferred. He went into the transfer portal about 2 weeks ago, and immediately he's going to the Mid-American Conference. So we won't see Braxton Chapman playing spring football this year. How surprised are you that he decided to go into the transfer portal?
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised. I think there's a lot of upside to Chapman. He played some as a freshman and sophomore. I don't know if this is the reason. I can tell you, Ron, and you're going to see it. Jaleel McLaughlin, who's transferred from Division II Notre Dame, is legit. He's really, really good. I think he'll emerge maybe as our number one running back. You also have Christian Turner. And I also think that if Turner wants to play this spring, come back next fall, he can do that. So maybe there were 2 running backs ahead of him, and he just felt there weren't enough carries for 3 running backs. But I think he's talented. I think he would have had a chance to eventually play here. He invested a couple years in the program, and from Western PA over there at Farrell, which has a great program. Yeah, I was surprised. Unless, again, I don't know his reasoning other than it was, if I'm number 3, I'm just not going to get on the field.
Bob, let's talk a little bit about this Youngstown State team. It's young in a lot of positions. It's young, and depth is going to be an issue in some positions as well. But there are some people that believe if things fall into place, Youngstown State could very well be a player in this division this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a handful of things that have to happen. I think one is either Craycraft or Wade, or maybe that combination have to be efficient and get it done. I think Craycraft will get the first opportunity to be the starting quarterback, but Wade will get on the field. I think, Ron, at least 3 or 4 of these transfers at mid-year are going to have to contribute in a big way. I mean, we've got guys transferring into our program that, played at Cincinnati, Florida, came to us from Liberty, Syracuse. I mean, these are pretty big-time programs. So those guys are going to have to come in. And most of those transfers are upperclassmen. So they've had experience. This should be their best year being a junior or senior. I think those players will have to develop. And I think quickly the defensive front's going to have to be a force. I think it has a chance with Craig and Cook and Vinny Gentile to have a chance to become pretty good and get after the quarterback and also shut down the run. I think a lot of things have to happen because of the conference being so good and so experienced. It's not just North Dakota State. It's Northern Iowa, South Dakota State, Illinois State, Southern Illinois. It's a veteran league. Teams are returning a lot of starters. Even Illinois State, who's very good, might be the fifth best team in this conference. So there's an opportunity, I think, to maybe step forward quicker than maybe Coach Phillips would have thought when he took the job a year ago because of some of the transfers.
Obviously, you go into every game, you want to win every game. That's got to be the competitive mentality. But outside of that, what do you think are some things that Coach Phillips would love to see out of his team and that he's looking for, especially in the first 4 weeks of the season when it is such a grind, outside of obviously wanting to win?
I think that's a good question. I think he wants to see fight. I think that, and Ron, you saw the games at home. I think there were times when we faced adversity, maybe we quit or didn't hang in there, whether it was in a game or in a season. When things went bad, they just seemed to go bad, and we never turned it around. So I think he wants to see a team that competes, that battles for 4 quarters. I know it sounds like a cliche, that hangs in there. I think the game last year at South Dakota where we got blown out, I don't think our team played in the second half. I don't think they competed. I really don't. And I hate saying that about a Youngstown State team. I think Coach Phillips wants to see them battle. So if we get beat Sunday, let's fight for 4 quarters. Let's be competitive. Let's hang in there. I think he wants to see that. I think he wants to see better quarterback play than what we've seen. Last year we played 3 quarterbacks, some by necessity with injury. But I think he wants to see, more consistent, better decision-making out of his quarterback play. And I think he believes he needs to get a pass rush. I think you'll see a lot of blitzing and coming after the quarterback. I think he felt that Youngstown State's maybe been a little bit too passive on defense and hasn't been aggressive enough. So I think those are a few things that he wants to see early. But I would say, number one, find a team that's tough, hard-nosed, that's going to battle to the end. You might not win every game. You may be, in some people's eyes, of a rebuilding process. But let's let opponents know that, you're going to be in a fight when you play Youngstown State for 4 quarters.
Bob Hannon joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. And I'll echo what you just said. Way too many times last year, for lack of a better term, it looked like Youngstown State, when they let it get away from them, they went into the corner and started covering up and not throwing any punches back, in a boxing metaphor. They just bent over and tried to cover up instead of try to throw haymakers. One of the positions that I will be curious to see where Youngstown State is the defensive backfield. The last time we saw the Penguins on the field in 2019, the DBs were young, and at times they looked good, at times they were lost. What do you expect from the defensive backfield this year, Bob?
I think you're right. So Bryce Gibson transfers. He would have been maybe a starter at corner. He left for a Division II program. I think you'll see two or three of the transfers play. I think right now Quincy Lenton, who's a senior transfer from Florida, will be a starter on the depth chart. I also think Isaac Steele, a senior transfer from Liberty, and Alan Stritzinger, another transfer from Syracuse. So I think 3 transfers will play a lot, coming from big-time programs, Florida, Liberty, and Syracuse. I also think that some of the holdovers that you might see, contribute up front, on that back end. I know John Harper out of McKee Sports, a junior, had him play a lot last year. They like what they've seen out of him. I don't know how much Troy Jakovic will play, redshirt freshman. I think he'll be mostly on special teams. But Ron, I think they're going to lean on some of these transfers. I know also, in the secondary, Zaire Jones will likely start at safety. He's now a senior. He started last year. He's the kind of player that transferred from Vanderbilt last year. Needs to have a big year. I also think maybe Demetrius Ford on the one corner will play some. So I think it'll be a mix of transfers and a handful of guys like Jones and Ford that are carryovers that will play in that secondary.
A couple more things before we let you go, and we're speaking with Bob Hannon, the voice of the YSU Penguins, on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. This is technically the 2020 season, even though they're going to be playing in the spring of 2021. As far as getting an extra year or then some, What is the NCAA ruling for the FCS teams? Do they lose their eligibility of your senior year, this is it, or can they play in the fall?
Can play in the fall. So if you're a senior right now and you play all 8 games and you elect to come back, you'll have a year of eligibility in the fall. I think before this decision made, a player like Christian Turner was talking about sitting out the spring and possibly coming back in the fall to play an 11-game season because the fall just felt, better for him. But no, you're going to have a chance to come back. Ron, I haven't found out yet, and I will talk to Ron Stroll maybe on the trip, is how are they going to do this with incoming freshmen and scholarships and all that. I'm sure they have a plan, and the NCAA has put together some kind of plan to allow these seniors to return on scholarship, and you have an incoming class. Now, I'm sure some of the players will leave just because they're ready to move on with their lives, and maybe they don't want to play that many football games and they had enough. But I'm thinking some will want to come back and play.
When you look at the type of players that will make that decision, it's such a tough decision because obviously when you're at this level, you love football, you've put your blood and sweat into it, and if you have another opportunity to play, you can. But then again, if you're not one of the select few that can make a job out of playing football, you got a career waiting in the doorways, and some of those jobs, doors don't stay open for too long. So it's going to be a tough decision on whether or not you want to come back and play in the fall if you are a senior at YSU.
Yeah, I think that's correct. If you're a handful of those FCS guys that think they can get a pro look, I'm sure they're going to know by the end of this spring whether you're good enough to go pro or not. You might want to come back and do it one more time to show the NFL scouts what you have. But if you're ready to graduate and maybe you're a red shirt and you sat 1 year and you played 4, do you really want to play another one, which turns out to be 5 seasons? Or is it just time, you've had enough football, and maybe you want to move on and get into coaching, or maybe whatever you want to do. So I think it'll be a personal decision for all of those players. And we'll see who comes back on our, with us and with other teams as well. I think they'd like to get a lot of those guys back. I think, depth is something that Coach Phillips is trying to build. And, you asked earlier, too, about, what Coach Phillips wants to do. One thing that he told me right after he got the job is that every coach that he interviewed, they needed to love recruiting. Recruiting needed to be at the top of their list of things they like to do. So I think he's got a staff of all the guys that want to recruit, and he knows that he's got to get better football players here, that he needs to, start doing a better job in Akron and Cleveland and Canton and just get better players here. So I think that's sort of the plan, too, for Coach Phillips, that every one of my coaches will be out on the recruiting trail going and getting players for us.
It's interesting you bring that up, Bob, because we had Coach Phillips on when he was first hired. He and President Tressel made the trip down to Palestine in the YSN headquarters. And one of the things that I asked Coach about was, are you going to use the content that Coach Tressel, now President Tressel, used, and that is plant the flag in the state of Youngstown, draw a 100-mile circle radius around the state of Youngstown, and get 80 to 85% of your recruits from this 100-mile radius around the state of Youngstown, and then your 15, 20% of the recruits outside of the state of Youngstown go to the football factories like Florida and California and Texas and some of the areas where you have a pretty decent relationship, but 80 to 85% of your recruits would be coming from the 100-mile radius around the state of Youngstown. Seems to me that should be the direction to go. It worked in the 90s, and our football hasn't changed all that much since then.
Ron, on the FCS level, you can win that way. You can absolutely win by recruiting Ohio. Now, maybe if you're in a state like Indiana, you can't. But Ohio is still a good enough football state, and there's good enough players between here and the other side of Cleveland, and maybe you do tap in once in a while to Dayton or Toledo, and you get a handful of skilled kids from Florida. But I think 70, 80% of your roster can be from Northeast Ohio. Just going to have to win some of those battles with the Mid-American Conference that maybe we haven't won. We've had a couple local kids that were really good players that left here to go play elsewhere in the Mid-American Conference. Ange Barbero, several years ago from Cantville, went to play at Villanova and won a national championship. Some kids just want to go away from home. I get that. But you've got to get kids from Canton, Akron, Youngstown, Warren to win at Youngstown State. If you're not getting those kids, I think it's going to be hard to win. So I agree with you. I think you can win by recruiting a 90-mile radius of Youngstown and get some kids from Western PA, and you can go beat North Dakota State and Northern Iowa and James Madison.
I love the idea that Youngstown State has gotten consistent with their football schedule. The 4 home games, February 27th against Northern Iowa, March the 6th against Southern Illinois, March the 20th against South Dakota, March 27th against North Dakota. All 4 of those games will start at 12 noon. This is an editorial comment. I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but that should be the start for every YSU game from here going here forward. I think it's a great starting time. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for everyone in a normal situation to get a tailgate going in the mid-morning, get your football game on at 12 noon. You're out of the stadium by 4. Still plenty of football to be had on Saturday night.
Ron, sometimes we don't agree. I agree with you on this one, though. Well, I'm with you. And then most of the major games, the big games, are in the late afternoon, early evening. And then I think fans get a mindset. Okay, Youngstown State's at noon. Then you don't have to guess. Is it 4 o'clock? Is it 2 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? I like the noon starts, and I hopefully we'll get that 3,000 fans in there that we hope to get. We won't have terrible weather, and it'll be a good start for something that maybe we'll continue next fall, playing those games at noon.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say against that, and I agree, I think noon is a great start, but the only thing that might flip the coin of it is you might see better student attendance at the night games because they want to go out at night, they want to have a fun time at night, and I feel like in the student atmosphere is what's been really missing from the YSU football games. You might get that a little bit more when it's a primetime game.
Maybe. I think there's pros and cons to any time you schedule. But I think a consistent time, I think, helps the majority of the fans. And I like the earlier start time if you were going to pick one time. I don't think you want to play 7 o'clock in November. I don't think mid-afternoon does you any good. So I think when you weigh everything in, I think noon's the best opportunity to get the most fans to come in.
Bob Hannon joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. So, Bob, talk a little bit about the tickets. They're not going to be sold day of the game. If you're going to get tickets, you got to get them very, very early on. Talk a little bit about how Youngstown State is dispersing their 3,000 tickets.
Yeah, there's no tailgating. You're going to have to get your tickets early on and contact the athletic office. There's some different packages. They'll work with you. They'll tailor it to you the best way they can, but it's just a different set of circumstances with COVID and trying to make sure everybody's properly distanced. And they can't be guessing on game day. Are we going to have 2,200 or are we going to maybe have 3,400 because they're going to keep it to 3,000? So your best bet's to call YSU, talk about the packages. There's only 4 games around. They're all really good games. The first one with Northern Iowa and Southern Illinois, they're ranked. Hopefully by the time we start getting into March, we'll get a little bit better weather. But again, that's a good point. You just can't go up on game day. Go to the ticket office and buy a ticket.
Bob, best of luck to you. You and Steve Leslie on the call from the Fargo Dome in North Dakota State, eh? Penguins taking on Canada Light.
You take care of our buddy Steve, all right? He's a good GM. We don't want to lose him up in the Fargo Dome.
No, he's a good guy. I looked today. I'll let you go after this. With a wind chill, it was 22 below in Fargo today, but by Sunday, they're calling for a high of 30. Not that it impacts the game because we're in a dome, but, Steve, he gets to, he'd walk around town Saturday night. I don't want him to get frozen or too cold out there, so hopefully we'll be in good shape.
Describe for everyone what the atmosphere in Fargo, North Dakota is like.
So, Ron, typically it's amazing. They have tailgates. They've got these big, tailgating, huge tailgating. To me, it's like a mini Ohio State. They're all in green and gold, and then they pack the tailgate lots early, and they're cooking brisket and barbecue, and very friendly, and they welcome us in. And then typically it's 19,000 fans packed into the Fargo Dome. This Sunday it'll be 9,500. And really, Fargo is one of the better cities that we travel to. I would think Fargo and Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in terms of restaurants, opportunity to go, have a drink or listen to some music at night. And what also is nice for us is everything's within walking distance. some of the places we go to, we stay out in the middle of nowhere, and there's really nowhere to go even to eat or walk around town. From our hotel to downtown Fargo is probably 2 minutes walking distance. Very friendly community. It's similar size as Youngstown. I was looking at TV markets. Fargo's 115 in the TV market now. Youngstown's 116. But as far as game day, they're there early. They're into it. Obviously, they've won 8 of the last 9 national championships. But Steve and I were talking. Probably our 2 favorite road trips are, he hasn't been to North Dakota State, but mine is North Dakota State. And then when we play South Dakota and South Dakota State, we always stay in Sioux Falls. That's a fun town as well.
Well, hopefully one day we will get the fan base to be on par with North Dakota State, because when they come to Youngstown, they come in droves as well. And it's just such a great program, and hopefully the Penguins will give North Dakota State a serious ball game on Sunday for sure.
Well, thanks, Ron. Always good being on with you guys, and we'll recap it next week.
You got it. Have a safe trip out there, brother.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
See ya. Bob Hannon, the voice of the YSU football Penguins. He and Steve Leslie will be making the trip to the Fargo Dome this weekend.
Good news for Youngstown State. They will be going up against a quarterback that's making his first career start. So
that's true.
And, if you're going to get someone, I'm sure they recruit quarterbacks like it's their job, so I'm sure he's up to the task. But if you're going to get someone, get him in their first start.
I look at and Bob's a 1,000,000% right on just the atmosphere in the Fargo Dome and just the people that are in there in droves. And we saw it in the 90s at Youngstown State. Not so much these days, but God, I'd love to have our.
North Dakota is winning right now.
Yeah,
they're consistently the dynasty of the. So, of course, they're going to be excited. And then what else is there to do in Fargo? Fargo, eh?
Yeah.
Not much to do up there.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of Fargonians.
Oh, man, I like
that. Did I just make up a word? I don't know if I did or not. But I'm sure that those people are like, well, what's there to do in Youngstown, Ohio? Right. Okay.
Not much. Pizza.
Yeah, pizza. We got better pizza than you do. 330-886-0813. I just, 3,000 fans at Stambaugh. Hopefully everyone will take advantage of the opportunity to see a game at Stambaugh this year, and we'll see what happens.
How about that? Football is opening up, baseball is opening up, and softball is opening up, because softball's opening season tournament this weekend got canceled. So
okay.
Softball will be opening up next weekend on Friday. Baseball is opening up in Alabama, and then football will open up on Sunday. So,
I was wondering when I was doing my show on Friday, you had said on Thursday I'm going to be watching plenty of softball. Okay, so how much softball did you watch on Friday?
A lot. They're not as much because the South got hit with winter weather.
Yeah.
So there were several tournaments that I really had my eye on. They got canceled, unfortunately. But Georgia Tech went 5-0, so I'm happy about that. Good buddy from Willoughby, Ohio, Riley Frizzell, got her first collegiate hit at Missouri, so I'm happy about that. So it was still a lot of really good softball. Tennessee got to reschedule and play on Sunday, and I love their program, so happy about that.
Good.
So a lot of good softball. Unfortunately, YSU couldn't get started because of the cancellation of Winter Storm. But we're going to have Coach Campbell on sometime this week. We're trying to corral that so he can preview the softball season.
And I would say anyone right now not in South Florida, you're pretty much affected by the crappy weather.
And if Tallahassee, Mizzou was playing in Florida State.
Yeah,
I had my eyes on that, and it was raining. So it's like in Florida, you're getting rain. So
yeah, and I guess the rain snow line right now is somewhere in Alabama, which is weird because again, normally you don't see snow in Tennessee. You just don't. You know, it's been a while since it snowed in Tennessee. I remember living in Jackson. A week before our home opener, we went to Jacksonville. The morning after, it snowed 6 inches in Jackson, and everyone was losing their mind. And our dog wanted to go out and play in the snow the entire day. Go figure. So yeah, but it normally you don't see snow in Tennessee. They're getting a bucket load of it and then some right now. So all of the tournaments, softball and whatnot, and baseball, you're just going to have to hope and pray that everything goes according to plan this week.
My tweet of the weekend was, we're already fighting COVID. Do we have to fight Mother Nature too? Come on. Can't we just have a little bit of...
COVID decided to spring their tag team partner in this.
Come on,
yeah.
Tag. All right. Mother Nature's like, let's go.
Mother Nature's like, yeah, you're not getting out of this ring without me getting a piece of you. 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. Stick around. More to come.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Klim from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. So I'm looking at the forecast for Troy, Alabama for this weekend. Care to take a guess what the high temperature is going to be in southern Alabama on Friday? Saturday and Sunday is going to be reasonably nice. Care to take a guess as to the high temperature?
I feel like I'm on the Price is Right, where if I'm closest without going over, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say 1 degree if that was my, but no. Let's see, Alabama. I'm gonna say 30.
No, significantly higher than that. If it was 30
said it
degrees,
was cold.
This is cold for them.
No, you didn't specify that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's cold for them.
43.
47 for a high on Friday. 27 for a low on Friday night.
See, then 30 is kind of close to the low. Those are night games, right? They're playing at night. 7 o'clock starts.
Yeah, that's gonna be chilly.
So, yeah.
Hopefully they play day games on Saturday and Sunday, because the high on Saturday, 55 degrees, plenty of sunshine. Now, of course,
After
this is
55 will feel like 70. So
yeah, and then 62 degrees on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's t-shirt and shorts after being in winter for a while.
Pull out the barbecue. Let's do some tailgating and let's have some fun.
People in
here.
Alabama will still be in blankets and parkas at 62 because they're like, "What's this? We are so used to 80. What's this 62?"
Well, it's not. I mean, it's
That's why I love
it's kind of chilly. I mean, let me give you an idea of how weird everything has been. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, when you think of Baton Rouge, you're thinking of
hot
and humid. It is 26 degrees right now in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with a winter storm warning, and apparently they are supposed to be getting a bucket load of snow. Now, I don't think it's going to be it's going to be chaotic, but they're supposed to be getting a ton of snow. However, next weekend, it'll be 71 degrees in Baton Rouge on Friday, 72 degries on Saturday, and 71 degrees on Sunday.
They get like a week of winter. I would love a week of winter.
Yeah, that was always nice. When I lived in Vero, and Vero Beach, for those wondering where that is, it's about 3 hours north of Miami on the Atlantic Ocean side, near the beach, near the ocean. There'd be a week or two stretch in January where the high would be in the
beach near the ocean. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Go figure. For a week or two stretch in January, the high would be in the mid-50s, and all these people would be bitching about the weather. It's abundant sunshine, not a cloud in the sky.
You're strolling in like a t-shirt.
And I'm just looking at these people, and I'm like, really? Y'all are going to complain about 55 degrees? Well, it's cold here, and they got their ear mittens or ear muffs on, and they get the gloves on, and they get the scarf on, and the whole 9 yards. Meanwhile, I'm in a comfortable windbreaker saying, What's the problem here?
That's my dad to a T, though. I mean, if the temperature goes below 60, he's like, coat, and he doesn't like it at all. And he lives in it, so he lives here, and he's like, oh, I don't like it. His house is consistently set to like 72. He does not like it cold at all. At all. You should see
even in the summertime?
No cold.
See, I used to freeze people out in my broadcast booth in the summertime.
This is the same guy who would go out in the summer with a tinfoil, cardboard with slapped with tinfoil and just sit out there roasting himself.
By the way, that's a no-no. I can now attest to the fact, having had some surgery here and on my back, that is a no-no.
Before he did it, he put tanning oil on. So he's baking out in the sun.
Yeah, that's a no-no. You'll be paying for that one.
And we'd be like, "Hey, Dad, you good?" All right.
Apparently, he's good.
He's good.
That's all right. It's all good, man. All good. 330-886-0813. So it'll be 47. Now, the forecast could change because it's only Monday. But the high in Troy, Alabama, which is about an hour north of the Alabama-Florida line, so it's pretty far down there. It's only supposed to be 47 degrees.
You're talking to Bertolini tomorrow?
Yes.
Make sure to tell him to bring his wooden horse.
Yeah. Got to go to Troy.
You tell him that.
Wooden horse time.
It's the only way they'll let you in.
Yeah.
And if they have a guy named Hector on their roster, watch out for that guy.
Ah.
He is the tamer of lions.
There you go. There you go. And if they play the USC fight song,
right,
that
Sword
could
of
be
Troy.
Yeah, that could be tough as well. Yeah.
I don't know if they do. I've never been.
I have never been down there. That's I've been to a lot of places in Alabama. Never been to Troy. Been to Mobile. Been to Montgomery, Huntsville, Birmingham. A lot of weird places in the suburbs that we don't talk about. And seen some weird stuff that we will definitely not talk about.
There were banjos involved. We don't want to talk about it.
There is a lot of stupid stuff down there. There's a lot of weird things happening down south. That's all I'm going to say. Their food's good though.
Their food's good, so
it's not pizza, but their food is pretty good.
They have food and they have NASCAR, so they're.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
The Daytona was really fun. Not fun to watch, but it was interesting.
Honest to God, I was hooked on Stanley Tucci's Searching for Italy because I was assuming that they would have canceled the Daytona 500. It was pouring down rain. They had that ridiculous crash that took half the field out in lap 14. And poor Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney was sucked up in this wreck, and it looked like he was going to get away scot-free. He's really close to the grass, but he's still on the asphalt, and nobody's hit him yet. And everything looks really good for this guy. Somebody T-bones him, puts him into the grass, and then his frame gets bent when he put his nose first and took a huge chunk of grass out of Daytona, and then went boom, popped back up, and then got popped again by another car. His car was screwed.
You know what happened? He was driving, and either him or one of his crew said, it looks like we're going to get out of this one scot-free. Because as soon as you say that,
you get nailed.
The universe is like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Boom.
You gotta do this. Looks like we're going to get away from this scot-free. Knocking on wood. Yeah.
The driver's sitting there like, there's no wood in here. What are you doing?
Yeah, half of the field got taken out. And then it started pouring down rain. So I was assuming, they're just going to cancel this race and they'll play it on Monday. They'll finish it up on Monday, no big deal. No, I guess the race ended a little before midnight Sunday night. And, they got the lights in Daytona, so that's always a wonderful thing. But I didn't see the finish. I was too busy watching Stanley Tucci in Naples talking about how pizza was invented there.
All right.
There you go. I mean, good stuff.
Wonderful Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to be like a NASCAR passenger, just to sit there and annoy the driver all the time. Be like, hey, why do we keep going in circles, man?
Yeah. Can we turn right? Yeah, take a right there.
Why do you like Tide so much?
Hey, Hamlin, I like your shorts. Or no, hey, Hamlin, I like your PJs. PJs?
They should make NASCAR drivers drive with their wives in the passenger seat.
Oh, no. Hell no. Oh. Why are you tailgating this person so much?
Just go around him. Quit being a jerk.
Can you please go around him? You're making me nervous. Yeah. I get a sudden urge to go to my counselor now because of this.
Heartland went into the wall and turned free. I wonder what happened there.
You like the way I drive now, honey? 330 886-0813. Yeah, that's... See, now you've got me going into counseling now. Good Lord. I just got nightmares of this whole stuff. I'm just sitting back going, why are we driving like this? Why are you tailgating this? Why can't you go around this guy? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's... honestly, it's the wives drive the first half of the Daytona 500.
Speed Racer did it with his girlfriend in the passenger seat and a monkey in the back. So,
well, Trixie...
NASCAR driver should be able to do it just fine.
Let's be honest here for a second. Trixie wasn't an up-your-ass kind of a person who started screaming at you the moment you put your foot on the gas pedal. She was somewhat of a normal human being. I see you've gone sideways on this show. 330-886-0813. Oh, Lord. It's a Monday edition of Running Point. So should we have the wives and significant others drive the first 50 laps in a stock car race, and then they go into the pits, turn it over to their significant other, and they finish the race.
I'll take over if you're tired. That's a great road trip. And then you look over at them, and they're
yeah. An hour down the road, 10 minutes after they said, "Oh, I'll take over." Okay. Yeah, you're really taking over. Oh, God. See, now now you're bringing up issues that I can't even talk about. Thanks a lot, Anthony. We'll take a timeout and be back with more. Oh, goodness. Calgon, take me away. It's a Monday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point. We took our pit stop and we're in better shape now. So, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We made mention there were some games that were canceled for today and into tonight. You've been watching a couple of games on the network while we're doing our commercial breaks.
Just keep an eye on West Branch. They were struggling to start. We said they were down 17-9 early. But now in the third quarter, they hold a 49-41 lead over Waterloo. So their defense clammed down and it held Waterloo in check, and their offense has come back. Yeah, 24 points since the late in the first quarter to the middle of the third quarter. Yeah, that's typical West Branch right there. So Cheney was supposed to be venturing up to Menor. That's going to get canceled. Obviously, the snow is going to be a whole lot worse up there than it is down here, so you certainly don't want anybody getting stranded for the night up there. And then obviously the Cheney girls were supposed to play East Cleveland Shaw. They're not going to come to Youngstown.
because pretty good chance they wouldn't be able to leave Youngstown.
Heartland just won on a buzzer beater to beat JFK. John Berdovich hit a buzzer beater from the volleyball line at the buzzer.
Now, keep this in mind.
Wow, breaking news.
These two teams are 2 and 3 in the 2 and the 3 seed in Division 4. JFK is a 2 seed. Heartland is the 3 seed. That game was played at Heartland today.
Yep.
So interesting that Heartland just knocked off Warren JFK. And we bring this up because JFK decided instead of being top dogs in their district, they were going to crash McDonald's district. Yeah. And I believe this is the first 1-2, at least in our area, where the top 2 seeds are in the same district. And now Heartland just got done beating JFK. They're going to be feeling really good about themselves as the top seed in the other district tournament in D4.
Let's also remember that's JFK's 3rd game in 4 days.
This is true.
And one of them was an overtime, thriller against Warren Harding.
Yes, so. and they destroyed Niles on Friday. They beat Harding on Saturday.
Not taking anything away from Heartland. That's a great team and it's a great win. But you got to imagine that JFK wasn't full gas in the tank either. I mean, that's a brutal stretch, but that's what COVID has done. It's fair.
But that's gonna suit both teams really well going into the tournament. I mean, you want to be able to play really good teams going into the tournament.
Did Heartland stay there too, or did they go down to the other bracket?
No, they went. They're down in the other bracket.
Right,
they're the top seed in the other bracket.
Right.
So they're going to be feeling really good about themselves.
All right, we can do this.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be feeling really, really good about themselves. Now, I mean, they do have to tangle with Wellsville and Lisbon and Southern, 3 teams that are pretty, Heartland Christian knows about those 3 teams. I mean, let me just say this. If Valley Christian hadn't jumped into the EOAC, Heartland Christian would have been a great candidate to jump into the EOAC. Now, unfortunately for Heartland, they don't have football. So they would only be a all other sports member of the EOAC, which, and I can say it. I mean, this is an editorial comment, and well, what do we say at the beginning of the thing?
The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Okay, so having said that, if I were in charge of the EOAC, I would say to Heartland Christian, you guys want to jump on board and be a part of the EOAC in every sport other than football? And we have a 9-team conference, and you now have 16 conference games in volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball. I'm good with that because you put Heartland Christian in their program. Yeah, granted, they don't have football. You put Heartland Christian, that program, into that conference, you've just made the EOAC that much better. I think it would be a perfect fit. Now, obviously, with football, you would still have to find 3 non-conference games. But if you put Heartland in the EOAC in a 22-game basketball schedule, 22-game volleyball schedule, all you need to do is find 6 non-conference teams. That's a hell of a lot better than trying to find 8 non-conference opponents.
And you just wonder if Heartland would do that or if they kind of enjoy their independency and they like playing whoever they want to play.
Well, and that's the other part of it. I mean, Heartland, they may not want to take on the teams in the EOAC.
They already do, but they just kind of pick and choose. We want to play Columbiana, we want to play Southern, we want to play, So, but then they can also go and play Crestview. They can also go and play. I'm trying to think of
they can go play Reserve, Springfield, Western Reserve, McDonald.
All those teams.
Sure.
JFK.
JFK is a great example. Absolutely. By the way, it's if you're a really good basketball team, that would be one of my non-conference games. I'd be calling up JFK and saying, "Hey, come to our place. We go to your place, and it doesn't matter to me. Let's play."
Well, remember JFK isn't playing on their home floor right now.
That's true. In a normal atmosphere, though, when COVID is kicked to the curb once and for all, and take Mother Nature with you, hopefully we'll be able to get back to standing room only crowds in sporting events again.
Do you go to an away gym and be like, hey, can we have our senior night tonight on your floor since we can't play on our floor? That way we still have a senior night.
That's... How did they do?
I don't know. I don't know if they've done it or if they have a plan or what they're going to do. But that's interesting that just popped in my head when I realized they can't play in their home floor. What are they doing for the seniors?
I mean, could you have asked Harding for one night, hey, you guys are on the road, can we borrow your gym where everyone congregates in Harding High School, play your senior night game at Harding High School? I mean, that's unless you go to Howland and offer or ask the same favor. There's the only two schools that I can think of where you want to be able to have everyone, more people go into the gymnasium, because the bigger the gym, the more people you're allowed to bring in, because it's 15% of capacity. So I would assume that they would have probably had that conversation with Harding or Howland and said, hey, can we borrow your gym for a senior night? That's a great question, because your floor is your gymnasium is right now it's not playable. So where do you go for your senior night? Where do you go for your homecoming? Where do you go for the special nights like that? That's a great question.
One I'll do some research on, and maybe we'll have an answer on Wednesday.
Perhaps we get the head basketball coach of the boys or girls or both on the program. I know Comlank likes our show. Maybe we can get him on.
Let's do it.
Get him to talk about this game today. Can't believe Heartland beat him at the buzzer. A volleyball line three.
Right.
That's out there. That's an NBA type of three. That's a you shoot one from the volleyball line, because that's, what is it, about 10 feet beyond the top of the key?
It's exactly, it's 10 feet from, if it's the end volleyball, like the end of the volleyball court, it's 10 feet from the foul line.
It's 10 feet from the foul line, so it's 25 feet out there.
Right. Yeah.
And that's an NBA three. All right. Hell of a shot. Good shot. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. DJ and the fellas have...
Same Batman. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
The hero we deserve, but not the one we need right now.
The Caped Crusader.
Right.
Yeah, Caped Crusader. No. Let me ask you before we... maybe you can ponder this.
I had to put one more pop reference in there.
Maybe you ponder this, and then we can talk about it tomorrow. If I were to give you a superhero that you can be, who would it be? We'll let you ponder on that one. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Wednesday,
that's right. Well, that's right. Wednesday. You're not here tomorrow. We'll let you ponder that one, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Right. I like that idea.
Yeah. So we're out of here, making room for DJ and the fellas. Got the Power Hour coming up to get you through the 3 o'clock hour. I'll be back tomorrow, noon to 3. Coach Bertolini will be on. And, it's get ready to freeze on Friday in Alabama. But it's going to be nice weather on Saturday and Sunday, though, so that's good.
Well, it's above freezing, but it's going to be cold.
It's going to be chilly.
It's going to be better than what we have here.
Well, this is true. You will. The only thing that's going to be white on the field is going to be the baseball.
That, and if Youngstown State brings out the nice
white unis, that would be nice. Those gleaming white uniforms.
Those are clean.
Yeah, those are clean. There's no two ways about it. All right, DJ and the fellas coming up in just a bit for Power Hour. We're out of here. Talk to you tomorrow. Tuesday edition of Running Point tomorrow, noon to 3 on Y.